welcome everybody to episode 7 of Minor Infractions. Now, we're not going to do too much in the way of announcements and stuff. I do have some to get to, but we're going to try to get into the episode very quickly today because we're starting with a fight. So I'll just drop that here to remind people for whoever covers the recap. But since all the tech systems seem to be working, at least as best as I can get them right now, I will run through announcements. I don't believe there's anything really new from last week, but I will pull up the schedule, so I'm sure to give you guys accurate information. We do have more of a locked down schedule now. So, schedule first. Next week, we will have episode 8 of Minor Infractions on the 26th, usual time, usual place. May 3rd, we will have episode 9 of Minor Infractions, same time, same place. On May 10th, there will not be a live streamed D&Dorks on this channel at all. However, there will be D&Dorks content for you. We have a schedule conflict on that day for the live show. So what we are doing instead is releasing the first 30 minutes of our Patreon exclusive non-essential Kazalor prologue episode for free on YouTube. And then you can go and, if you enjoy it, check out our Patreon and get all the extra content there. So that's going to be kind of a special thing so we don't have a gap week. Then on the 17th, we have the final episode of Minor Infractions, episode 10. And then, somewhat excitingly, no season gap this time. We decided for scheduling purposes, it was easier for us and also more fun for you guys to just jump right in. So, Friday, May 24th, we have episode 1 of Tales from Kazalor, The Golden Era. You've probably heard us talk about it a bit already. It is a series that is going to be DM'd by Nathan. It features me as a player, Mike as a player, and the return of Panda and Momo. Going to be very fun. Another full-length series. It's unscripted show, so I don't think we have like a final episode count yet, but Nathan was telling me 8 to 12. And I have another little scheduling drop for you here. That is the 29th of May, so still over a month for this, but the 29th of May is when we are going to be releasing our playtesting materials for Giant Fighting in Kazalor. Now, exactly what that's going to entail, Nathan and I are still working on. There's going to be what we're thinking is a free version and a paid version so that more people have access. But that is going to go up with the YouTube release of Kazalor episode 1. So get ready for playtest material on the 29th as well as a bonus thing for everybody. Second announcement, once again, same as last week. The Crit Awards are happening. The nominations for those go through the end of May, so plenty of time. We have done a TikTok about this before. We talked about it in depth last week, so I'll skip over the specific categories and stuff. But anyone can nominate anybody for things in the Crit Awards. If you would like to nominate our show for various categories, we would love it if you would do that. We'd very much appreciate it. We do have specific categories that we're kind of quote-unquote gunning for, which you can find on our TikTok and on last week's VOD, etc., etc. But you're not restricted to those. You can nominate us for whatever. So whatever you think we deserve, we would be very happy to try and get a nomination for that. Last thing, and I'll make this quickest because it is personal to me rather than the show. I have started up personal streams again on this Twitch channel, which makes it even more ironic that I ran into tech issues today. Truly don't know why that happened. I stream for myself Mondays and Wednesdays. Mondays is like random lore analysis, kind of like what I do on TikTok, but longer form and with visual aids. And then Wednesdays is gaming. The reason that I specifically want to shout that out on this stream is that this Wednesday I am playing a game called Slice and Dice, which I can best describe as Dungeons and Dragons Yahtzee. I picked that game for last week's gaming stream just because I thought it would be a chill, fun one to jump into without much stakes. It's one of the most fun games I've played on stream ever, and it's a roguelike, so no context needed if you want to come and hang out and play that. I had a lot of fun with it last week. Chad had a lot of fun with it last week, and we're going to be doing more of that on Wednesday. So, 7 p.m. Central Time. Come and check that out. I believe that's all the announcements. If I missed anything, guys, feel free to correct me or add that in. Otherwise, who wants to take the recap? The recap fear. That moment of silence.
I want to do the recap this week.
I can. Someone just has to tell me where we started, because I never remember where the episodes start.
That is fair, and last week's start was a lot. Last week, I think I mentioned this a couple of times in something. I'll admit I don't remember if it was in the after show or the main show. But I know my plan for last week was basically, after mid-season, you guys have a to-do list, and we're
yeah.
gonna see how you guys check off the boxes on that to-do list and where you end up after that. So that was the sort of synopsis for last week, if that helps at all.
It does not actually. I may not be able to do this recap because I remember.
I mean, I can always
I can
take it
actually
as well,
take it.
but I like to
Go
force the
ahead.
players to do
What
it
do you
because
do?
it's a rite of passage. Jake, you want to take it?
Because I have the to-do list pulled up, so
Perfect. That would do
and
it.
just go off of that.
That would do it. Yes.
All right, so before taking a month off of the show, we basically ended right after like the longest 30 seconds in D&D history.
The cacophony of
basically we all
bullshit.
did a
Still one of my
bunch of crap.
favorite moments.
Yes. We all did a bunch of crap at the same time, which ended up getting us a copy. Well, not a copy. Ended up getting us another phone, specifically Valentine's phone. And so we started the episode with a new phone, a new piece of Catsby, and no idea where Shepard was. Pine had just been knighted. We basically tried to systematically go through and tidy up all the loose ends. We did give Catsby the vial, and he something happened where our like auras seemed to change or something. And we spent a decent amount of the episode trying to analyze and figure out exactly what that meant through some scientific testing and not so scientific testing. And so we did a lot of like flipping coins and throwing swords in the air, and eventually figured out through doing some of that testing and through talking to the same Fearbog mage that we kept going to the library to bug, who we finally found out her name was Professor Hold On.
A name that I definitely prepared in advance and did not come up with on the spot.
Yes. And so
just for the record,
she basically gave us enough to figure out that Catsby operated, or the magic that he is made of operates off of potential or something to do with potential. And so we figured that out. We gave Catsby a piece of him, which caused him to remember more, seemingly. And we weren't able to quite discern what he figured out, but it seemed like he figured out either he was dangerous or something needed to happen where he left us. And we tried to stop him. Some of us did. And it didn't really work, and he left. And then, so we spent some time trying to find him. Couldn't really do much with we did go talk to the guard to try and figure out more about the phone, which didn't really result in much. And then eventually, in an effort to find both Catsby and Shepard, we ended up going back to the lush underground jungle place where we originally found Shepard with the golden statues and such. And we tried to be sneaky because we noticed a bunch of buildings that were there now that weren't there the last time we were there a couple days ago. And we weren't sneaky.
No, you tried. There was an effort that was made. Also, by the way, I know the cameras are being wonky. I haven't addressed it, but I'll explain what's happening when Jake is done. Continue.
So the last thing that happened basically was we knew the jig was up through a series of events. Some of the guards got knocked out. Mike got one of their helmets off. And then the last thing that happened was that Shepard sniped the guy whose helmet was gone, revealing that he was there, and it's time to roll initiative, I assume.
Yep, it is time to roll initiative. That was a good recap. I don't really think there was anything major that was missed. Though, we're about to have a fun little experiment, which is that I don't know what's going to happen when I click this button in the streaming software. We're going to find out first, and then I'll explain why. I'll try to make this as quick as possible. That's not as bad as you know what? Not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. I have learned something today about OBS, which is what I'm using now instead of Streamlabs. This is the first time we've ever had to use the fight overlay on like switch between the fight overlay and the roleplay overlay. And for some reason, unlike Streamlabs, it does not automatically save the camera positions on different setups differently. Don't know why that's the case. That's something that I'm going to have to figure out how to do. I'm sure there's a way to do it. But I incorrectly assumed that would happen automatically on Streamlabs. So basically, I have to crop everybody's cameras individually real quick, which should only take a second. I really did think that was going to be far worse than it was. So I'm going to count that as a victory. Obviously, the screen that you are seeing here, players and audience, is the old battle map. I have not changed it yet because I wanted to make sure everything was cropped right first. Let's see. I will get that. And then I will switch it over for you guys and have you roll initiative. Crop that down.
So somebody in chat is pointing out that you skipped over a very brutal murder in the recap.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, there was a murder that did. I'm not going to lie.
that.
I was mostly trying to fix cameras during that recap, and I did forget about Beef Jerky Man. Someone want to go over Beef Jerky Man?
So a person tried to get away from Pine with an item Pine wanted, and also with information that Pine didn't want getting out. And so Pine made some beef jerky and had a nice snack with that man. That makes it sound like we ate.
Jerky.
Yeah, we didn't eat the jerky. No, that makes it sound like we ate the guy.
We simply turned it invisible and left it there.
I mean, we joke, but that did fundamentally alter Ratch's perception of Pine. Pretty major character shift.
Ratch is scarred, is the main takeaway.
Pine is at war. Doesn't understand what's wrong. Also, if I remember correctly, I was surrounded because I was the one that stood up and got noticed. So I don't know how that makes us fair for combat.
No, because at the end, yeah.
Yeah, you were in a ditch.
You were noticed, but then also everyone's noticed now, right? Except for me.
Well, you're invisible still.
Yeah, I'm invisible.
Yeah,
Iggy, are
Ratch
you
is
still hidden?
invisible.
Oh no, Iggy, you were in the ditch and you got
not
found.
based on the last thing I did.
Let's go ahead for this and switch us over to the where'd the tab go? There it is. Switch us over to our combat screen for today, players. We will be bringing back to the last time I used the map for this little cavern here. Now,
been here before.
It should be pretty clear what most of this is. The giant golden block is the golden statue. I am not using a Power Rangers Photoshop anymore. This is arguably less detailed and fancy, but also it's not a Power Rangers Photoshop, which is probably better in the long run. I have placed these three soldiers here surrounding Pine, who has been extracted from this pit that Iggy has created. For the witch, I am just using a hag. I felt like that was appropriate. Iggy, you are here. Now, this is what I have taken to represent your little pit. You should have control over your tokens. If you want to put your pit like here or here, I will give you like a little bit of range and flexibility to move it around if you want. And also, Ciel and Ratch, since you are hidden, I just kind of slapped you up there. You can move your characters within reason wherever you want before we roll initiative. And again, if you don't have control over your minis, let me know, but you should, because I'm just reusing an old thing here.
I don't think I do.
Let me see what I can do about that. Let me also crop Jess's camera down again slightly.
Giant Jess.
Nah, it wasn't Giant Jess. It was slightly overlapping the frame, Jess. Sorry, it's far less interesting. Okay, let me make sure. Controlled by... Oh, no, you should have control, Nikhil. It says controlled by Nikhil Clayton. Unless you have joined.
I have multiple accounts. So
pointing out that Shepard is not on the map.
Oh, Shepard's not on the map because he is in a tree decently far away. When Shepard enters the battlefield that you see here, he sniped somebody. He's not necessarily close.
Shepard made his first goddamn shot.
I will say, for battlefield purposes, he is, let's call it north. I don't technically know if that would be how it is, but we'll say up is north, classic dot. He is off-screen north. Let me add a control by
in this campaign,
here.
Up is confusing.
That is very true. Okay. I'm sorry, Chad. This was my bad. I had to change the controlled by on Ratch Hatchet from Nikhil C to Nikhil C in all caps. My mistake.
Jesus.
Honestly, how could you make that mistake?
Okay. Now everybody should have control over their characters. It's so weird to start one of these with combat, but also it shouldn't be too long of one, so I don't really mind it.
Yeah.
Not too long of one.
Hey.
But yeah, if everybody is happy with their character placement, we can go ahead and roll initiative.
I'm happy.
All right. Woo! That's a natural 20.
And for Pine, probably the best scenario to be in. Yeah, if anyone got a nat 20,
yes.
that is the best one.
Oh, actually, yes.
I got a 12.
I also got a 12.
As the DM, probably would be better for me to write this down, huh? Pine, I'm just going to write first. We'll see if anybody else. CL and Ratch, you both got 12s, is that what I heard? Yes. Who has the higher dex modifier? It's almost certainly CL, but I feel like I'll ask.
I have +1.
Okay, we're going to write CL, and then we're going to write
for saving throw.
Iggy, what do you get?
7.
Iggy with a 7. Let me roll for the witch had a nat 20, and then it tilted in literally the last possible microsecond to a 14.
Let's go.
So, 14 plus a dex modifier that you don't necessarily know. And then for the sake of simplicity, I'll just have all these soldiers go at once. Well, no, you know what? There's only 3 of them. Screw it. Let's make them individual. Okay, one of them got a 20. Pine, what's your dex mod?
My dex mod is -1.
All right, now I get to do something scary here, which is that since this is sci-fi and I don't have a ton of D&D sci-fi options outside of Spelljammer, which the new Spelljammer wasn't great, but that's another topic. I am going to now dramatically hold up my Starfinder source book that I am adapting from today to check the stat.
Wait, no, we leveled up. My dex is +0 now.
Ooh, fancy!
Let's
and
go.
Is that a guff?
Yes. You mentioned Spelljammer.
Yeah. I wish the new Spelljammer was better than it was. I'll call them Soldier North.
I know you're doing a million things, but one of those soldiers is prone.
One of those soldiers is... Oh, you're right. One of them is prone, because I forgot that there was a prone.
But not
two went prone. Only one of them died.
One of them got killed.
In fairness, I will roll a d4. We'll say 1, 2, 3. And if I roll 4, I'll just re-roll it. Let's see which one of these guys is prone. I got a 4. I got a 1. Okay, so I will go ahead and say conveniently, the one who rolled the nat 20 is also prone. So that's going to hopefully counteract at least a little bit here. Let me roll this. That is less good, but actually still pretty good. And final one. That was notably less good. Okay, now we can start combat officially. Of course, it was going to be Pine. It's now no longer Pine.
Yeah.
Fortunately for you guys, with this shot from Shepard being the thing that technically opened this combat, none of you are like actively the threat. This guy actually. Well, now I have to think about this. This man was prone. Okay, so first off, he's using half his movement. He's getting up, right? That's established. This man did fall to the ground, hear a gunshot and shouting, and then just kind of look over to see that one of his squad mates is dead. We're going to give him a perception check to see how much he even understands what's going on, first off.
Probably smart.
Oh, no. That's a 4.
Oh.
Oh, nope, sorry. Wrong
Traumatized.
stat. That is a 3. This man has absolutely no idea what is going on. Which, I want him to just shoot somebody at random. I don't think I don't think he's gonna do that much. He's well trained enough for that. So let's see. There's a D&D action for this, right? There's a specific, like, not Overwatch. That's XCOM, but there's an action that's an equivalent to that, right? Let me check this here.
I mean, you could ready an action.
Yeah, that's what yeah. I think he's gonna, not that you guys will know this for metagaming purposes. This man is gonna ready an action, essentially XCOM Overwatch. The next person that takes action against his allies is getting a shot at them. But that is gonna be his whole turn, which I think makes sense. I think that's a reasonable opener to this given what happened. Whoops, I just full screened that. Did that break anything for you guys? It did not. But that means it does go over to Pine.
Okay, so, Iggy, you're in a hole, right?
Yes, Iggy is in a pit.
Yes.
I believe it is a mostly covered pit, correct? It was a 5 foot by 5 foot, but you opened up part of it for Pine, but not all of it.
Not all of it.
Okay, so yeah.
So if I were to thunderstep right now, technically Iggy's within 10 feet of me, but I feel like Iggy is in cover underground.
Thunderstep is just like a shockwave, right?
Yeah.
I'll say a shockwave is going to be largely dampened to someone below you. So I will say if you want a thunderstep, that is not going to hit Iggy. I think that's fair.
Okay. Then yeah, I would like to thunderstep. The range on that is 300 feet. And so I'm not going to really measure that because this is like 60 feet here. Actually, I am going to measure one thing.
The main reason that I pulled up a map for this at all, instead of just doing Theater of Mind stuff, is like, since we do have a sniper on the battlefield, it might matter, but ranges are going to be pretty loose. Right?
Okay.
I'll be nice with it. And
then I believe I do some big damage to the 3 people that were surrounding me by thunderstepping.
I would heavily assume that.
It is a DC 15 con save.
A DC 15 con save?
Yeah.
All right. Two pass, one fails.
Okay, so the 2 that pass are going to take half damage. The one that fails will take full damage.
Got it.
I'm going to roll the damage on D&D Beyond real quick. This is 4d10, so that's 21 damage.
21 damage. So that is a full 21 to one of the soldiers. I'll go ahead. You could probably tell from the reactions. The south soldier, the bottom one. And then that's going to have to, I'll be nice, I'll round up for players. We'll say 11 damage to the other 2. Now, since the soldier who had a sort of Overwatch setup did pass the con save, I'm going to say that this does not... Well, I was going to say that this probably does not knock him out of his sort of readied state, but also the person who was going to trigger that readied state is not there anymore. And if we all assume that they were looking at Pine, which I think is reasonable, there's no one there. So I think he's just kind of going to wheel around. That's largely going to fizzle. So good job. That's going to get you out of that. You do still have your movement or other things, despite you having moved quite a bit already.
Good point. But I do have a bonus action I'd like to take. I can summon a tentacle within 60 feet of me. The tentacle is 10 feet long, and I think I would like to put a tentacle right next to our witch friend.
Let me give you a token you can control here. I have a squid.
Ooh.
Let me set that up so that... Okay, so there is a squid. We'll say if it has a 10-foot radius, we'll just note that. You should have control over that, so put that where you like. That's a throwback
right here
to
so I can take an...
That is an asset from the Symmetry days that I still had in my library.
Ooh.
And yeah, I believe that's pretty much all of my... Actually, since I'm at range, I would like to go prone with my movement, so that way people have disadvantage when shooting at me.
Yeah, a little bit of cover. It should be noted that while it's not immediately represented on this map, this is a very heavily forested area, if that matters for any tricks that you want to do. Just for my note, when does that tentacle activate? Is that after your turn? Is that on your turn?
It activates, I believe. Let me actually double check. Yeah, it activates after my turn.
Then theoretically, that would activate now.
That's true.
I've been
yeah, I'll do a melee attack spell against
go for it.
Against the witch.
I may or may not have been looking up sort of companion and summon rules for Kazalor. Little teaser for who I might be playing. So I was like, I think companions like that go after your turn, right?
Yeah, you are 100% right. For some reason, I have +7 to the hit DC of this tentacle.
Quite good.
So that becomes a 22 to hit.
22 is going to do it.
That'll be 1d8 plus 4 cold damage, if that matters.
For this.
And that comes in at 10 damage cold damage.
10 cold damage. I will write that down.
All right.
And since that's after your turn, it's going to pass actually to another soldier. You've done a successful job overall of getting everybody very caught off guard here. However, this guy does have some sort of understanding for what's happening here. So I think first thing he's going to do is try to get an idea of what is going on. So again, I'm going to give him a perception check, both to just figure out where people are coming from, where the sniper is, where Pine might have gone off to. So let's see what he gets there. Okay, I'll make his bonus to that is not incredible. I'm going to say what is this is me getting very specific and granular already. Jess, what is the description of Thunderstep?
The description of Thunderstep? Let me hold it up for you.
If you don't have it up quick, that's fine. I'm just curious for how this might seem visually.
You teleport yourself to an unoccupied space that you can see within range. Immediately after you disappear, a thunderous boom sounds, and each creature within 10 feet of the space that you left must make a con saving throw, taking 3d10 thunder damage, plus 1 at higher levels. After that's just mechanical descriptions. Do you still want that?
Yeah, no, I was mostly curious if it had any descriptor of like, is there a similar sound at the point where you end up? Which it does not seem like there is. So yeah, I don't think he's not gonna see any of this amazingly, which means I think he's just gonna take a shot at the tentacle. Very funny for them being outnumbered. Yeah. None of the team is really immediately visible here. So, yeah, he's just going to take a shot there.
All right.
Using his witch. Yes. That thing. That is going to be a 17 on the tentacle.
Okay, I believe that hits. I'm double checking.
Actually, he fires a couple times, so I'll just go ahead for the sake of convenience and roll these. Oh, that's going to hit. Yeah, all 3 of these are going to hit. Horrible damage rolls, though, to be honest. So what's the AC on the tentacle? If just to know if the 17 hits.
It doesn't seem to list one.
Does it have a health pool?
Not that I'm saying. I'm looking it up really quickly because
it probably just can't die.
It could be like a concentration of the caster thing, but if it usually summons that go after your turn have some
people are kind of arguing on whether or not there's a way to attack it on D&D Beyond. Check out if any of you know also, let me know.
Yeah, for the sake of time, let's move on because I have the damage roll for that set. Jess, if you find a solid answer on that, or if the audience knows, audience tell me, Jess DM me, and I will sort of add that damage in if, regardless. But again, for the sake of time, since this is a live show, we will move on to CL. You are, I believe, hidden, not technically invisible, but stealthed enough that at least from your point of view, nobody has seen you. You want to stay there or try to do something bold?
Well, it's not going to be super duper bold, but we're just going to move a little bit over here and So nothing special's happened to these goons, right? They've taken a little bit of thunderstep damage, but they're not prone or anything.
Yes, technically, I need to add, I have it written on my notes, and I did not add in the damage that some of them took from that thing that Iggy did last time, so I've added that in. None of them are prone at the moment. Some of them have taken a little bit of damage, but nothing like major for your purposes.
In that case, I'm going to target this one closest to Iggy. Let me measure to him. Right there. I'll get one. And if I'm coming out of stealth, I'll get advantage on that attack roll. Yes? No?
Yeah, if they can't see you and you get a surprise on them, then you get advantage on it.
Cool. Then I'll attack that enemy with advantage and use sneak attack to get an additional 4d6 on whatever roll that's going to be. A 14 and a 15, so not huge variance with the
Let me check.
Advantage.
A 14 and a 15 total? Or
No. That's rolling with advantage. So not a total. No, on the die.
Okay, and that does change things.
Plus the hit, that will be a 21 to hit with my rapier.
That will do it. These guys have armor that's very different than anything you have seen before. But you're very experienced in this kind of thing. You can find the weaknesses in it and get your knife in there without too much difficulty. Who's clickety-clacking? That's me. That's my new keyboard. I hope it's not annoying, because I like it.
Those are
sounds good. It's like a sound effect.
Yeah.
Base damage is 4 plus 12 plus 6 is 4 plus 6 plus 12, 22 damage.
That is quite a bit. Yeah, you get, coming out of literally nowhere from these guys' perspective, one of them just gets a knife in, I guess, really whatever gap in the armor you want to stick it in. He lets out a very loud scream. Your position, I think, is definitely revealed at this point, unless you want to make a miraculous stealth roll to try to do this without getting noticed, but boy, it would be a hard one.
Where's the harm in trying?
Yeah, I'll let you do it if it's funny. It says a quick stab and then a dash back into the undergrowth.
No, that's not. Well, I mean, no. Will a 12 do anything?
No, I'm not even going to roll. You're going to have to roll higher than a 12 to get away with a sneaky stab.
That's fair.
So your position is definitely noted. You can leave if you want, but opportunity attacks will happen.
Disengage is a bonus.
Oh, well,
is that a bonus action?
You are a rogue, so for you, you could disengage as a bonus action and then leave.
I don't see disengage on my list of bonus actions.
It might be a weird categorization thing on D&D Beyond. I know that there's a rogue feature where once per turn you can either dash, disengage, or hide as a bonus action.
Yeah, there definitely is.
In that case, yeah, I'll disengage. I'll come back over here-ish.
Yeah, rogues are so good for movement because of that ability specifically. They can just move twice as fast as everyone else. All right.
Good life.
And yeah, they have the disengage, or they would have an opportunity to
attack. That's okay. Thank you.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
It's under cunning action.
Cunning action.
Oh, yeah. I forgot the specific name of the ability.
Yeah.
All right, from CL to our other hidden character. Well, I was going to say our other hidden character. There is more than one, but our most hidden character, ironically the biggest, Ratch Hatchet. You are kind of just standing there, but you're standing there while invisible, so I can't fault the strategy. What do you want to do?
Well, we're going to lose the invisibility. That's just going to happen. I'm going to cast Hypnotic Pattern.
Also, real quick here, sorry to interrupt. Kane Moogle in chat, thank you. Someone says, looking into it, Fathomless Warlock Tentacle functions a lot like Spiritual Weapon. No AC, no HP. Since I already said it, we're going to say that this guy shoots at it and the bullets just pass through. Well, they're not bullets. They're energy weapons. But they just pass through it harmlessly. No effect. Nikhil, go ahead.
I'm gonna cast Hypnotic Pattern on a 30-foot cube of like here. So sorry, Iggy, but you should be the only one affected.
I'm technically underground, so I don't.
It's maybe.
Well, if
Sure.
it's a cube, just cast it at 15 feet in the air, or whatever. A 30-foot
yeah,
cube.
I guess I'll cast it. It's a pattern of colors appearing in front of people, but I'm sure I could just do it on normal level to hit everyone's faces and not the ground.
You can. Yeah. That is such a casting your spells at a very specific point to not hit your allies, even though it doesn't make a lot of sense. Classic D&D move.
All right. Well, then each creature in the area who sees the pattern must make a Wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the creature becomes charmed for the duration. While charmed, the creature is incapacitated and has a speed of 0.
Okay, cool. We
And
will
it's
this
Wisdom
order.
15.
You are going to shred these people. Wisdom 15. Okay,
Yeah.
that's a fail. That's a fail. That's actually a success.
Rip.
And that's a definitive success. So the north, I forget you guys can actually see my cursor now. That is such a nice little feature. The north and east soldiers here, those guys are the ones that fail. I assume that this spell has no effect if they succeed. So
Yeah, no
the
effect.
south soldier and the witch are unaffected. Is the only effect of this charming that they can't? Well, they're incapacitated, so they're basically
They're
stuck. Got
incapacitated,
it. Okay.
yeah. For
it's
concentration up to 1 minute. So not forever, but
That's in D&D combat. 1 minute, basically. That is 10 rounds. So that's a very, very effective thing. However, the witch is up next, and you did say you lost your invisibility there, correct?
yes, by casting a spell. I
Yes,
lose
you
the
did. You
invisibility.
lost that by casting a spell. Where was the stat block I was used? There she is. Now, the witch is experienced enough in magic here. She's clearly a slightly higher ranking officer in the Arcane Corps. She is able to identify what you did, Hatchet, and knows enough about magic to know that if she shoots you with something, it will hopefully disrupt the spell. So, where is that going to be? Gotta remind myself exactly what this thing is. It's a spooky spell, but it's also Starfinder adapted, so I gotta make sure I'm using it right. Yes, we will do a weakened version of that. Okay, so, Ratch, make me a dexterity saving throw.
Love to do so.
Yeah, we're gonna nerf this a little bit.
That
'cause
would
this
be
is
an 11.
An 11. Yeah, 11 is not going to do it. So I'll do the damage here first. You will get a save to maintain concentration, so maybe this won't end it entirely, but okay. That actually could be quite a bit worse. You're going to take 21 damage as this witch uses a spell called Heat Leech. She extends a hand, snaps her fingers, and you see this sort of radiating wave of heat leave the area around you. The plants at your feet immediately kind of crystallize and shrivel up, and you just feel a chilling cold almost paralyze you for a second. You do get a Constitution save, which I believe is half the damage taken. Someone correct me if I'm wrong on that. So con save of 10 to maintain concentration. I will fact check that as we're talking.
That would be a 7.
Yes, the DC equals 10 or half the day. Oh, you got a 7.
Yeah.
Okay, well, unfortunately, that is going to end the spell.
Right. Well, that's what we get.
Yeah, a 7 is not great. A 7 is not great. But also, initiative order will do that. Speaking of it, well, I guess you still can move if you want. Wait, no. I think I actually screwed. I think I moved on to the witch's turn before giving you the chance to move, which is my bad. Do you want to move, or did you
No,
not?
it's totally fine.
Okay.
The big buffalo man just appeared out of nowhere and cast a spell. He didn't think to move.
Okay, cool. In that case, we move on. Well, this is the witch. I just got the turn order wrong. Does she want to move? She cast her spell. If she moves, the tentacle is going to get an opportunity attack on her. But also, I don't think the tentacle can move. So one attack, she's going to make the calculus that taking one opportunity attack now is better than standing next to it and maybe taking multiple. So she's going to move over here just slightly, getting closer to Ratch, who she sees as the primary target. Jess, if that tentacle gets an opportunity attack, you can do so now.
If this person about to attack me? Am I reading that correctly?
She attacked you and then moved. I just got my turn order.
Oh.
I was thinking right in my head and I said it wrong. This is the same turn as her attacking. I just accidentally. She did the heat leech and then started walking towards you.
Interesting order, but cool.
It's priorities. Is there an opportunity attack from that tentacle, Jess?
Oh shoot, I was muted. I'm looking at it now, and it looks like it does not receive an opportunity attack.
Okay. In that case, we go to Iggy. Maybe the most interesting position on the battlefield, given that you are actively underground. I'm curious to see how you're going to handle this one.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think we mentioned in the intro that we leveled up, but we leveled up.
Oh, yes. I also don't know if that was mentioned. They are level 7 for episode 7, I think. 8. Okay.
8.
Yes.
Right, because that gets
so,
us 8. Level 8.
So my level up kind of got me a lot of stuff at once.
With fighter, there's going to be those levels, yeah.
Iggy went
and this isn't
boy,
even
came out a man.
This was kind of just a racial thing. Like I took a feat, and it's a feat that Deep Gnomes specifically can take. It's Surf Nevlin magic, which gives me like 4 spells that I can use once per day.
Oh yeah, those scaling feats can be crazy.
So I am going to cast Disguise Self on myself and make myself look like one of the soldiers in armor.
Interesting. Okay, yeah.
And so I will appear as though I am wearing their armor and carrying a gun. Now, if anyone like touches me physically, it doesn't hold up to that. Like I don't feel like them, but I have an illusion that I am one of the soldiers.
Yeah, and their armor's all identical. You've got 3 examples in front of you.
That's what I assume.
Yeah, very, very easy for you to replicate that. So, all right.
So I am going to do that for my action. And I am there's a bunch of chaos going on and people attacking each other and all this stuff. So I'm just going to try to pull myself up out of the hole and in the confusion and not really be, noticed as anything different than just one of the soldiers getting up from getting hurt.
Okay, wild play. Give me... I'm not going to make you do a dexterity check. I don't think you're trying to do this actively fast. You can clamber your way out of a hole. Give me... I'll be generous. Give me either a deception or a performance check. I don't know if those are even different stats for you, but I will let you choose what you want to do to act natural.
They have the same exact modifier of +0. So
okay, not going to be a super hard check, but I feel something is needed.
Okay, 14.
14? Okay, we'll do a quick check for these guys, but I don't think, given the situation... That's a nat 1. That guy thinks you're his buddy. Yeah, no one notices or questions this, at least for now, right? 4 soldiers went in, 1 might be dead, but looking around, there's 4. They don't have any reason to immediately question this until they stop and think about it for a second. So you are up, you are disguised.
Yeah, so I've climbed out of the hole, so I've used, I don't know, 5 feet of movement?
Yeah, we'll say climbing out of the hole will get you to like the same square, 5 feet of movement. It was a small hole.
Okay. And okay. I'm just gonna put myself in the gaggle of guards.
You're just gonna wow, guys, this is weird. What's going on here?
The other guards.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not. Everybody's running around fighting.
No,
I'm assuming we're not like
it's
sitting there shooting.
as
shit,
funny as it
so-
sounds, not the worst idea in the world. Okay. Unless you have what do you have remaining? I mean, a little more movement if you wanted, and bonus action.
I have a bonus
Yeah.
action, but I don't think I have anything that would be beneficial to use right now.
Yeah, I
as
don't
bonus
think.
action. So
I don't think
I'm gonna
fighters
save
have a lot
my,
of non-combat bonus actions
I'm
available
gonna
to
save
them.
my action surge for now.
All right, let's see who's up next. Then I believe it is the final soldier here. Now this final soldier,
Such a smart place to be.
it's
Sorry.
it's a wild
I just
place
realized
to be.
Attack of opportunities if anybody moves. This is genius.
Oh,
actually.
that's a great point. Actually, I don't know, Jake. Be honest. Was that what you were thinking, or is that a?
That was part of it.
Okay, cool.
Mm.
Well played.
I love it. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
now-
off. I
And
just
I
thought
have
that was
two
so
swords,
cool.
one of which is weird and golden, which I don't know if that matters, but
I actually do have. This final soldier is up next, and the question was: is he going to try to shoot CL or Ratch? Funny enough, Iggy, I think what you have just done is actually going to push the shot over to CL, because now this man does have a more clear line of sight to CL than shooting through 3 of his own guys to Ratch. So this guy...
Question.
In that,
Oh.
go ahead, Nikhil. You go ahead first.
I was just gonna say, can I do the cutting words thing on the next person that tries to attack anyone?
Yeah, for sure.
Great.
Well, I will say, cutting words, make sure you read the description of it, because some abilities have this, some don't. Check and see if cutting words is one that you can decide to do after you know whether the roll succeeds or fails.
You can do after the roll, but before knowing the result.
Oh, one of those. Those are stupid. Okay, yeah, sure. If you want to count it, I hate that ruling, because it's so hard to be like, yes, I've rolled, and not give away any information as to whether it succeeds. It's very hard to do as a DM, but all right, noted here. I'm gonna have this guy step over here. That does actually give him an opportunity attack from Iggy first, and then CL. Iggy, do you want to opportunity attack him? That this is one where it could really go either way. What strategy you want to employ?
And I do it in a way that is less noticeable.
Okay. Well, for note here, Mike, you've been wanting to say something for a minute. What were you going to say? So we're giving everybody a fair shot here.
First of all, so I have an uncanny dodge to use, so
Got it.
we're not super sweating this hit. But also, end of the last episode, I took off the guard's helmet and put it on me. Do I get any kind of bonus for that, or do I just have a new little helmet?
You did put a guard's helmet on you. It's a good helmet. This might be a little bit too much, but just for the sake of comedy, I'll give you a +2 to your AC.
And full Scout's honor, I'm fully intending on not having CL wear it in the future because it probably looks stupid on him. He's not gonna wear it.
DM will canonize. It does. You are a tall, gangly elf man wearing a suit and a full-on SWAT tactical military helmet. You look like a rapidly done customizable character, but you do get a +2 to your AC in true customizable character fashion.
This can very easily be visualized in Hero Forge, and I will be doing it immediately after the session.
Good. Someone in chat says +2.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
but
find...
like shields are +2. So if you have a helmet, I don't know.
+2 only if
It's
they
like when
aim
you
for the
find a helmet in a video game that's better than your current one, but it doesn't go with any of the other stuff that you have.
It's exactly that.
Yeah.
Now, okay, right. What I was gonna say, Iggy, if you can describe to me right now what your plan to do this, like this is one where you're gonna have to tell me what you're doing, and I'll tell you if it works. Because in my head, I actually have ideas that I would let slide, but I'm not gonna give you any hints. So, what are you doing?
Okay, so I seem to be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to hold. I'm going to use this bottle as a aid.
Oh, we're getting visual aids out. All right.
So that it is like parallel to my arm, so that it occupies much of the same space as my arm, but there is a sharp blade on it. And I basically want to if this guy is moving past me to go shoot that guy, I want to basically like accidentally shoulder check him.
Okay.
Like have him bump into me, but have him bump into my sword.
Okay, sure.
That he wouldn't see because he would think it's my shoulder. And it maybe hurt because of it a little bit.
I'll allow it. Give me. I do both of these rolls at the same time because they'll both affect. Give me an attack roll and a stealth check. I was thinking you were just going to trip him as he moved, but this also works.
I mean, yeah. Okay.
There's a secret thing that you weren't.
This is more interesting. I'll say this is more interesting, so no points off.
Right, I'm right there with you. That was the big secret.
So here, since I'm doing them at the same time, you said attack roll and a stealth roll.
Give me an attack roll and a stealth check. Yeah.
Okay, so the black die is my attack.
You don't
roll.
literally have to do them simultaneously if you don't want. Just do them both, and then I can. Before I tell you results. That's a good reaction.
Yeah. So for the I gotta remember what I said. Red was stealth. That is that's a 19 for stealth.
19 for stealth is good.
And for attack, dirty 20.
Okay, 19 and dirty 20.
15 and 18.
I mean, yeah, I'm going to give these guys perception checks, but a 19 is quite good. I would not be too worried. Which is also occupied. Yeah, give me the damage roll, and then I'll say how this goes.
I don't know if this matters, but the sword I'm using is the golden one. So as far as I know, they're exactly the same. But that is the sword that I am using because in case there is something special about it, he's going to favor it.
Yeah.
Okay. Roll damage.
Yeah, so give me a normal damage roll for now. If there's a special effect, I'll add it in post.
It's only 4.
Only 4 damage?
4 slashing.
Okay, so as this guy runs past you very quickly and very subtly kind of whip out your sword and basically just have it graze over his arm, which does work. You can see the gash kind of form in his armor. You said it was only 4 damage. I am not going to say that is enough to stop his attack, but he's using a gun and you did slash one of his arms, so I will give him disadvantage on the attack against CL for that. Attack going into CL then is going to almost certainly... CL does a 2 on the die. I'm not even going to worry about bonuses. I don't think a 2 on the die is going to hit you.
No.
With your bonus AC, that's functionally a 0 on the die. So, yeah, I'm not even going to bother with the calculating bonuses. That's not going to hit you. Again, he actually does have multi-attack, which I keep forgetting about. What is your AC, CL?
With the helmet bonus, it is 16. Without is 14.
And yeah, the disadvantage, I will go ahead and say, that actually did prevent at least 1 hit. So good job, Iggy. None of those hits are going to go into UCL. He fires at you, but he just got slashed in the arm. The shots go wide, all of them miss. And that loops us back around, but technically it does not loop us back around to North Soldier. That is going to loop us back around to Shepard, who is still there, as I said earlier, off battlefield to the north, more of a stage hazard at the moment until somebody actively brings him in. But you do have a sniper. And I think considering that let's see, he's up to the north. The guy that Iggy just slashed would probably be the most vulnerable target, but also has... What's up, Jake?
Did you have Shepard roll a perception check to know... There's nothing that should make me believe that Shepard would not know that... would not think that I'm one of the soldiers.
So I was actually going to go ahead and give that to you without... because he is watching this with like a magic scope. Remember, this is still round 1. So this is 6 seconds. In my mind, his scope has barely left the guy that he shot down. He saw that guy go down and then another guy climb out of the pit where you just were. In his mind, I think he can make that connection because he watched that happen from a safe distance with enough visuals. Of course, Iggy, you do not know that. But out of character, I will go ahead and confirm he saw enough happen from a safe distance that he's all right. I am think he is going to shoot this north soldier here because that is the one that other people have been gunning for. Let's see if he can hit. He's got a great position here. Oh yeah, he's in his element now, so he's definitely going to make that one hit. What is the damage roll on his gun? I don't even remember. Because it is a magic-y gun. The health for this dude is... Oh, really low. You know what? You guys have hit that guy enough. I'm not even going to roll damage on it. A second sniper bolt fires out of the tree cover, knocking this guy to the ground. Easily. 2 soldiers down. Shepard does not say anything at this point. Now that he is in active combat scenario, he's not going to give more information on where his battlefield position is. I am running his turn in my head. He may have moved, he may not. None of you know. If you want to try to perception check to figure that out, you can do so on your turns. That will loop back around to the soldier that just died. Pine, you're up.
All right, so I'm going to, first and foremost, just go ahead and shoot an Eldritch Blast at the witch, because she's the scariest one here.
That is true.
That's going to be a +7 to hit, and I think we've already established that a 14 doesn't hit.
14 will not hit, no.
So yeah, I completely miss. And then I'm going to use a bonus action to move my tentacle friend.
Wondering if you could do that. Okay.
Oh, absolutely I can.
I figured you could, but I didn't remember off the top of my head.
This location is also so much better because now I can defend my allies with my tentacle as well and take damage for them.
Yeah.
This works and like moving it does trigger the attack as well, so it will be doing an attack against the witch. And I'm not going to roll on D&D Beyond anymore because that's not been doing well for me, and instead I'm going to roll this dice that gave me a 20 earlier. And I got a 12, so never mind.
12
I do nothing.
With bonuses?
Yeah, I rolled a 5 on the dice, and then +7.
Okay, yeah, well, that's not going to do it. The tentacle is moved, so that's a little bit more battlefield control for you. I'm going to assume that you are not moving your own. Your Pine herself is not moving. Relatively safe position.
Yeah, she's still prone. She's
right.
Pine range attacks, disadvantage. They're all ranged.
Okay, now this soldier here, this was what was originally the east soldier, is up. At this point, there is another body on the ground. I'm going to have this guy make a perception check to see if the fact that there's 2 bodies on the ground and still 3 soldiers on the field is going to click in his brain. Let's see. What's the DC for that? At this point, two of his comrades are dead. It's not going to be that difficult of a DC, but also these guys aren't the most perceptive. So he's got a guy on either side. He's still locked in. There's hope. Okay, so
living the dream.
Now the question is, who's he going to shoot at? I think the guy in front of him, Ratch. Time to fire off some shots here. Actually, you know what?
Wait, I want to do cutting words to him too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also going to Guardian Coil.
Whatever the hell he hits.
This is going to he's going to use a special thing. So let me see the exact specific. Oh yeah. That's actually great. So, rather than you guys getting an attack roll, I am going to need actually Ratch, CL, and Pine to all make dex saves.
Ooh.
Oh.
This is the reason I chose this stat block for these guys. I think it's a neat ability.
That is a dirty 20 for the dex save.
Dirty 20?
Oh
okay.
my god! It's a nat 1 for my dex save.
Oof.
Yep. I got a 2.
Plus...
A 2? Okay, well, Ratch is going to dodge this effortlessly with the grace of a dancer as it just obliterates Pine and CL. This soldier very quickly taps some buttons on the side of his fancy assault rifle, and it does kind of the Suicide Squad blood sport thing where it like extends and modifies, and then he turns, rather than aiming directly at Ratch, he kind of swings the gun out, and it fires 3 arcing bolts of electricity at everyone else on the battlefield at once. It's a crowd control shot.
Ooh.
Now let's see. The damage for that is actually not really as bad as it could be, especially since it is one. Okay, he did get kind of high rolls. Ratch, luckily for you, this is an ability where if you pass the save, you're good. CL and Pine, 18 damage each.
Oh.
Okay.
It's not too bad. I'm considering doing
I don't think anything worse is going to happen to me this turn. I'm going to uncanny dodge that. Make that 9.
Yeah, an
damage.
uncanny dodge is the one. Correct me if I'm wrong, but uncanny dodge, just for the sake of me knowing, that's the one where if you fail, you can treat it as success, and if you succeed, you can treat it as nothing.
No, it just says when an attacker that you can see hits you with an attack, you can use your reaction to have the attack's damage against you. So it's just halving damage.
Oh, then actually, you might. Is there not a rogue ability that lets you pass or increase dex saves automatically?
I rolled a nat 1, Matt.
You know what? You're right. You did roll a nat 1. We'll say also for the sake of time that that ability is just not going to work. Okay, but 9 damage, that's not too bad. That is going to be his turn, though. That does take his whole turn to do. So I accidentally minimized the battle map. Let me bring that back up. CL.
Alrighty. So, more admin. Let's talk about sneak attack. Because I'm going to move over here. And the way that sneak attack works is once per turn, yada yada, you can deal 4d6.
I'm there.
Yes.
Yeah, the ally within 5 feet.
Yeah.
Well, it says enemy of the target within 5 feet, which technically the target doesn't know that's their enemy.
Doesn't know,
but I assume it's
still
fine for us to treat it as the same.
Yeah. Oh no, it's. Yeah, that actually is kind of interesting. I don't know how exactly that would work if you want to get really granular with it, but I think it's situational, and in this case, that actually is really interesting, because he wouldn't know. He wouldn't know that is an enemy next to him, so I don't think the logic of it would work, because the idea of sneak attack... I'm gonna allow it this time, because this is an interesting thing that I've never seen in D&D games before, or never thought of. But, like, the logic of sneak attack working with allies is that their attention is split between 2 people. And his is not. Yeah, that's fascinating. Like I said, I'm going to allow it, but wow. Might not allow it going forward.
Yeah, that was exactly where my train of thought was. So I thought it courteous to ask, even though it didn't benefit me.
That is appreciated.
Panda's rubbing off on me in a bad way.
We're going to do one of my... we're going to be doing one of my favorite rulings in Dungeons & Dragons to make as a DM, though it's not one I get to do often. That ruling being, I'm going to allow it, but don't do it again.
Yes. Fine with me. And that was... Does a 14 hit?
It'd be really fun. No. Hilariously, you're after all that debate, no.
Well,
they have surprisingly good armor, especially since it's a little bit more futuristic than what you're used to. Well, in that case, we're chilling here. Hey, we learned something. Doesn't help the characters, but it helped me as a DM. We learned something new today. I will say, I don't believe you used all of your movement to get there, so if you want to disengage bonus action and leave again with the remainder of your movement, you can.
Bye.
I always like to bring that up whenever I have an opportunity, because it's a good D&D tutorial moment. For people who want to learn D&D and haven't had a chance to play yet, your movement can be split up on your turn however the hell you want. You can move, then attack, then move partially, attack, and then move the rest. You have total freedom in how you split that set distance up. And this is a good opportunity of that being helpful. So, that goes to... who's up next? I forget. Oh, Ratch Hatchet.
Yes. Is there any reason Ratch would know that Iggy is not?
I'll give you a perception check to see if you scanned it, because you... Let me look at the initiative order here. Yeah, the witch attacked you before Iggy got out of the hole. If that had happened in the reverse order, I would have gone with the same logic as Shepard of, like, you watch this happen while invisible and safe. But other around, so go ahead and give me a perception check to see if you noticed.
That was a 2 on the die for an 8 total?
Yeah, no, you...
I'm so sorry, Iggy.
All right.
All
if
my
it was gonna
spells
come
are in
from anybody.
ranges, so I don't know. It doesn't make sense to shoot it far away for no reason. If
Yeah, I'm
I
about to, because from Ratchet's perspective, Iggy is underground and safe, so there's no reason not to nuke ground level.
Ooh.
Sorry,
Ratchet
bud.
also missed his math check.
All right.
Ratch would absolutely not notice there's a new person on the field. Okay, well, I'm gonna cast Fireball, and I'm gonna cast it right
Hey!
here.
It's
to get 'em
Jake's
all.
fault. Jake manifested this with the shirt. Is this the
What a
first fireball
perfect
on a
shirt.
friendly that we've had in D&Dorks? I feel like it. I feel like it can't be, but at the same time, I can't remember another time that it's happened. Chat, do you guys remember a fireball? Surely it's happened before.
I used it twice against the Big Mac. I don't know if any friendlies were harmed, but
Or I guess
I
a
feel
friendly
like-
player is more notable. Anyway, yeah, go ahead and do your. I think it's a
Anyway,
saving throw, isn't it?
it's gonna be a lot. I apologize. Oh,
Well,
the saving
Fighter.
throw is
I probably have the
15
most
dex.
HP of any of us, so
It's
Yeah.
okay.
hit me.
Well, it's 15 dex save is the first thing.
15 dex save. All right.
Yeah.
And I assume you're casting this in such a way that it's hitting both the soldier. Well,
Yeah, it's
all
hitting all
three, yeah.
three of the soldiers. Yeah.
Okay, good news to start. Both of the real soldiers do fail. So at the very
Right.
least, this is going to be
I got a
worth.
17.
You got
Oh,
I got a
17?
for my deck save.
Look
Okay,
at
so
that!
you get-
Optimal outcome.
Yours is
I'll take
only
half.
half as much, but
Yeah.
it's 31
Nice.
damage to the other two.
That would've
How
been
much damage did you say it was?
31.
31 damage to the other two. Well, the soldier on the bottom had 31 hit points. So you are going to take him out. Thank goodness. The other one is still up, and there is still the witch in play, who is the biggest threat. But that's two, technically three down.
When having damage, do I round up or down?
This is something that I think is subjective. As a DM, I always do rounding that is favorable to the players. So in this case,
Okay,
taking
so I take
damage,
15
you'll
damage.
round down. That is, again, that is
Okay.
subjective. I'm pretty sure Nathan is going to round up with everything in Kazalor because Nathan
All right.
is going to be mean. But for this,
Grab
we'll
Ratch,
do
I'm okay.
player favorable.
okay.
All right,
Well,
you know what? Great. You got one soldier down, one soldier low health, and Iggy is only a little scorched. I will say, Iggy, is disguise self a concentration?
What? Let me check.
I think
Oh, this is gonna ruin
well,
Ratch's day.
So
he
it's
didn't-
it's not because it's a shape changing effect. It might be normally. It is not for me.
okay, sure.
It lasts for an hour. It's a
Okay,
It's a-
good.
first level illusion.
Nice.
If Ratch
That's
said Dire
real
Fireball and
good.
then
Okay,
Blue
cool.
burned Iggy, he would have felt so bad.
This feat is insane. Like I can cast non-detection, which is a third level spell, on myself at will, as a cantrip.
That's
basically.
insane. In a
Which
mystery
means I
campaign
cannot be
too.
spied upon or detected by any sort of magic, and it lasts for 8 hours. And can
it's
do that
at will,
whenever I
so
want.
that's literally just whatever the hell you want. Okay, now that's
Yeah. Now,
constant
it's
non-detection.
specifically me. I can't cast it on anybody else, but
That's real good.
yeah.
Okay.
And that's only 2 of the spells I gained from this feat.
That's nuts.
Right.
All right.
Anyway, sorry.
No, you're good. That's a cool ability. The witch is up next. Let me see what spell she has available to her. Funny enough, she has put herself in a position where if she has a good beam spell, which I don't remember if she does or not, but she might be able to hit all three of you. What are we looking at there? I think I'm going to have to
What?
nerf that spell based on this, but there is a little spell in here called Explosive Blast. Let me remind myself of the exact...
What's the incantation for Unibeam again?
Dude, Starfight,
Doesn't sound
again,
good.
this is a nerf. For anyone who's curious, this is a very modified stat block because I'm nerfing it and I'm adapting it to 5e, but I'm roughly using a stat block of something called a Necrovite, which...
Necrovite.
Oh, yeah, right.
Good name.
This is actually, I remember, this is the spell that I picked this character's stat block for. Explosive Blast descriptor, this is what you guys see, not that you know exactly what this is. You take a battery, overload it, and then fire it out at somebody, and it explodes magically.
Ooh.
So this is a
Kamigawa shit.
20-foot radius burst. So it actually might not be able to hit everybody. I minimized the battle map again. It might not actually be able to hit no, at 20-foot radius burst, that almost certainly can, but let me check that. Oh, yeah. 20-foot radius burst. So this witch pulls out just a little cylinder and casually flicks it into the center of you guys, where it lands on the ground, and then...
Matt, subtract 5 from the damage, please.
Subtract 5 from the damage? Well, let me see exactly. I believe this is another dex save, actually.
But you still have to roll for damage, right?
Yes, but let's do the dex saves first.
Also, I will get to subtract damage from 2 of my allies with Guardian Coil.
All right. Go ahead and give me those dex saves real quick.
CL doing his job right this time. Nat 20 on the dex save.
Okay, check your rogue abilities. That might reduce damage entirely. I'm not sure.
Let's see. Features and traits.
There's something about nat 20s with rogues.
Also, yeah, someone did point out, purely coincidentally, this kind of is the Gambit spell.
Love to see it.
But Jess and
Magic Stone is still the Gambit spell.
also
That's
true.
the most Gambit-y thing. Pick up a rock.
Jess and Nikhil, what saves did you get in the
That was
meantime?
10.
Wait, what?
6?
10?
What the hell?
A 10 to 6. Okay, so those are both going to fail, but Mike seems to have discovered something.
Evasion. When you are subjected to an effect that allows you to make a dex saving throw to take only half damage, you instead take no damage if you succeed on the saving throw and only half if you fail.
It basically stair steps it down automatically. It's one of Rogue's best things. If that would affect the last thing that you got hit by, I will allow you to put that back up, because again, I just feel nice today, apparently.
Well, I didn't. I wouldn't have to use the uncanny dodge. That's a crazy ability. Wow.
Yeah, it's real good. However, for Ciel and Ratch, how much damage does this do? It could be worse.
Again, -5.
Oh, horrible damage rolls. You guys are very lucky about. Wow, really bad damage rolls. Still 23. -5 to that. That's going to take it down to 18. Was there something else that you had, Jess?
Guardian Coil will remove an additional 1 for Nikhil. And I don't believe Iggy's getting hit, right?
Iggy's not getting hit. It was a explosion tossed into the middle of you three.
Okay, yeah. So then
18 to Pine and 17 to Ratch. You guys got lucky. That could have done so much worse than it did.
All right, Pine is down.
There's so much. Yeah. Oh.
Pine's down?
Oh
shit.
Oh. And the drama the drama graph of this episode is like.
Jess, do you have like
how much
35 hit points?
35.
She is an old woman
you are
with a cane.
A small old warlock, so that maybe shouldn't surprise me as much as it does.
I was looking for the perfect spell, only to remember I put it on the stupid
Man, we have
multi-class one instead.
Pine's down. Iggy's not the one that got hit. Ratch, you took that damage. Ciel, you are fine. Iggy, it is your turn. You do see this explosion happen, of course. But
Pine just screams from the grass where she's sitting down.
Shit.
Yeah, this fight just became so much more impactful. Let's see how this goes, because I'm also going to remind you guys, you have hit the witch once.
Yeah.
So, oh boy. Now I, as a DM, am going to have to lock in. This is going to take more time in the episode than I thought.
Okay.
Already over an hour in.
I know, this
might just be the episode. This might be
it's not going to be that long. If it was an all-fight episode, that'd be very boring and no one would watch it. However, this is going to extend the drama quite a bit, so I'm happy with that. It's also only the second combat we've seen in the show. So, Iggy.
So, while 30 feet, okay. So while I am still unsuspected as a
amazingly
Yeah, while I'm still unsuspected, I'm going to move 5, 15, 25. I'm going to move to here, which means I move out of this guy's melee range, but he shouldn't have any reason to think that he should attack me. I'm another soldier just running past.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him another perception check because again, someone did die in his vicinity very recently. You're actually the only one left, other than him.
Right.
But he gets a check. That's actually surprisingly good. I think he is actually gonna notice. But the question then becomes:
Will he notice in time to like attack me?
He's not gonna notice in time to opportunity attack you because he notices as you're leaving. But like he shouts after you.
I'm gonna give myself away.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna give myself away anyway.
Okay, yeah.
It's just I wanted to move away from him before getting the opportunity to attack.
He got a 17 plus bonuses on the die, which I'm gonna say is good enough to notice, but not like an insanely high roll where he's gonna notice instantaneously. This is all happening very quickly.
Okay. So I'm going to cast blindness/deafness on the witch.
That's a good spell. What's
and I pick if it's blindness or deafness. I'm gonna pick blindness. And she has to succeed in a 13 con save.
13. What's the con? Right.
I think con's not her highest stat.
This is technically the stat block I'm using is technically an undead, and in Starfinder, undead don't have con scores like normal. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to assign her one that is a level appropriate. We'll see what I can't go on the die off the table. Definitely, that's going to be a fail.
Okay.
I don't know what
blinded.
Thing. It was a 6 on the die. She does not have like a +5 to con or whatever, so she is blinded. All right.
Yes. So she can't see.
Yes.
Which hopefully will make throwing grenades difficult. Yeah. So that was my action and my movement. I'm going to action surge.
This is a good time to do that. Use that fighter power.
Yes.
Something to do or die.
Surge. Yes. Where is it? It's under other stuff. Limited use. Yeah, action surge. All right. So that allows me to take an additional action. Okay, this is something we have not established because we have not. We got potions from Dr. Clock super early in the campaign. We have not used any of them yet, and I don't know so some DMs say giving a potion to another player is a full action. Other DMs say it's a bonus action. I would like to know what your ruling is. That's going to really depend on what I'm doing here.
My ruling that I will go with, I don't know if this is actually happening. I'm sure I've made a ruling of this at some point over the course of D&Dorks, but to be honest, I don't remember what exactly I said. I know we haven't ruled that in minor infractions, though. So for the purposes of this campaign, I'm going to say taking a potion yourself is a bonus action. Giving it to someone else is more involved and going to take a full action. Kind of only on the logic of like, you can take a potion yourself with one hand. It's going to take 2 hands to give it to somebody else. So that's my logic. That seems fair.
Okay. What can I do here? Well, unfortunately, so in that case, I can't get all the way to Pine and give her the potion because I would have to use my action to dash.
You have to use the dash. Yes.
I'm a little guy. So I guess I will just be closer now and use my action to firebolt that last guard.
All right. Firebolt that guard. I believe that's an attack roll on your end for this spell.
Yes. Yeah, that should work. That's a 23 to hit.
You guys are getting good attack rolls. You need to have enemies with higher AC. That'll hit.
You're still fighting ghouls,
all right.
Matthew.
2d10 fire.
Party member down, and Matthew's like, I didn't make this harder.
I've been so nice this combat. So many slight rulings in your favor.
That's 11 fire damage.
That's comedic. Ooh. Okay.
11.
Yeah, that's very funny for reasons that you might be able to guess. He's still up.
It's the perfect amount. Now he's fallen.
Does he have 12 hit
That's
Has
points?
one
funny.
health left, doesn't he?
Oh my god.
Maybe. Maybe not.
We have not seen Bad
All right.
speak Michael Way. Thank you for weighing in. He's been gone.
To be fair, this episode is
So
not
I
taking place
still-
in Spondylix. It's taking place outside. But who knows where it's going to go for the rest of this? We're not even halfway through the episode.
All right.
Are we not?
Oh,
We're getting there, but we're not there.
I
yet.
do have one last thing I can do. Second wind is a bonus action, so I'm gonna second
Oh,
wind.
yeah.
'cause
So
I
go
did
ahead and
take a
heal
big
yourself
hit.
up. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna do some healing, and then my
Man.
turn is over.
I keep doing these subtle plugs for Casalor, but doing playtesting of Casalor mechanics has been so good for me as a DM because I've had to run so many different classes. And just because I have to run different classes every week, now people will be like, oh, I'm using Second Wind. I'm like, oh, I immediately know what that is because I'm used to all the classes now.
I rolled
Okay.
a 10 on my D10 for my
Great.
second wind, so I'm back up to full
Yo.
health.
That is very good.
It is very nice.
Okay, now let's see who's up next. I believe it is Shepard. The question then being, is Shepard going to try to execute the guy that's on his last legs, or is Shepard going to go for the more dangerous threat? There is viability to either. I think in Shepard's mind, you guys can handle the one basically dead soldier, so he's going to try to fire a shot off on the witch. And he is going to hit. Let's see. Do I want to say that he did any sort of special shot there? I probably should have said that before I did the roll, but since I didn't, we'll just say he does one of his normal shots. I think that's actually fair for the situation. So that is going to do an amount of damage to the witch. You don't know exactly how Shepard's abilities or the witch's abilities work, and I'm not going to give you a hint off of that. But you do see one of Shepard's shots strike the witch. If anyone wants to give me a perception check on that, I'll allow it to get some more
I'll do it.
information. But I'm not going to give you details without a roll.
That's a 17.
I heard a 17. I see Jake shaking his head. Pine,
rolled
actually,
a 2
you
on the
don't.
die.
So
Yeah, I
CL.
can't look.
19.
19. Okay, both Ratch and CL. This probably isn't too surprising, but I will just go ahead and confirm that when you see Shepard's magical sniper shot strike this witch, there is a sort of glow around the impact that these other soldiers did not have. Seems like she has some sort of magical armor in some capacity. Again, not too much of a surprise, but good to lock that down. The impact has done something to her, did not absorb the entire thing, but it maybe didn't do as much as you'd expect a full-on sniper shot to do. And then Pine, make me a death save.
Yeah.
We do so few of these in in D&Dorks. You probably won't have to
it
do
hasn't-
all of them because this is getting close, but
It's been a second since I've had to roll a death save.
right.
So an at one counts as 2, not all 3 failures, right?
Yeah, now okay. Wow, we
Jesus
are
Christ.
getting closer. I was so set up at the beginning of this episode. I was like, yeah, this combat's going to be fine. Probably not going to be that interesting. We'll get through it quick. Neither of those things turned out to be true. This is okay. Nobody
This
else
got
knows
very
that
scary.
at the moment. Yeah, and it's maybe going to get scarier, but we'll see how this technically goes.
If that witch attacks me while I'm down, I think I'm out.
There is one more
It's blind,
soldier
so-
here, and the soldier.
7 men in a
Here's-
kobold.
Here's the awful thing about this. That
Sorry.
soldier. I'm gonna read something here.
Look, I have a stat block for Janine. If this goes down, she's getting vengeance.
This is actually such a poetic time for Pine to die. It's
As
like
a
Pine
standard
accomplished
action-
everything they
In
wanted.
character.
As a standard action, a patrol class security robot, which is not what this is, but it's what I'm using for stats, can shoot an arc of electricity at up to 4 creatures.
No!
Oh!
Now let me check the range. Within 40
Uh-oh.
feet. Within 40 feet.
Oh,
30.
oh,
30
yeah.
feet.
I'll go ahead
Oh.
and counter
At
charm again.
disadvantage.
Hmm?
Mine's on the ground.
Okay.
prone,
Well,
right?
here's the thing.
Knocked
This
out.
Only
is
if it's a range attack.
this
the
is a
magical
this
attack,
is a
right?
Matter.
reflex save.
Ooh. A dex save?
Yeah, it's dex save.
Yeah, that's not
That's
good.
again. It says Pathfinder language. This is a dex save. Let's see. Because let's see what the damage is. Because if the damage is like minuscule, not gonna have this be an insta kill here. But everybody except for Pine, roll me those reflex dex saves real quick. We'll see what happens.
That is an 11 dex save, and take 5 off the damage again.
That actually could save it.
Yeah, that could be.
Okay.
I got a 9 for my dex save.
So you fail, but you do just take half regardless. CL. Ratch, you
Yes.
fail.
Did
Iggy?
Did you tell us what we're shooting for?
I don't believe I said it this time. It should be on here. It is only a 13. It's not a super high save.
What happens if you tie the save?
Again, I have established in this episode that at least for now I'm gonna do player favored ambiguity. So meets it, beats it.
Okay. Well, I have a 13.
And yeah,
that was
meets
not
it, beats
gonna
it
work, then
logic.
I was going to use luck.
Yeah, you're good. Meets it, beats it logic. Succeeding it means no damage on this ability. Okay, now I have to make a really interesting decision because the damage was 7. Reduce that
So
by
here's
5. What were you gonna say, Jess?
I was gonna say the thing is, rules is written. Any damage while down is a failure on a death save.
Rules is written. Any failure. Oh boy.
So
It feels gross to say that 2 damage is going to be the deciding factor, but
yeah, I mean,
oh boy,
it's not gross. It's
I couldn't heal you so fast if it got to my turn. Why am I last?
this was going
Oh.
so well and turned so fast. This is going to be like one of the very, very, very few character deaths in D&Dorks, I fear. Pine's final act is going to be turning a man into jerky.
Well, this also has some really interesting
It has
implications because
really interesting
the U.S.
implications.
government just killed the knight.
Oh, it has ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like technically, this was
Oh.
this. Yeah. I mean, this deserves more description than just us talking about it. You see this man on his last leg, stumbling forward, whip out his gun, and just barely able to hold it up in his sort of final act, fires out shakily these arcs of lightning that strike.
Wait.
Huh?
No, because bonus actions can't be taken out of turn.
Nope, that's the only thing
never
you can
mind.
do out of turn is reactions. These arcs of lightning that fire off of you, some of them hit, some of them miss. However, all of you don't take too much from this. A light tap. He wasn't holding the gun very well. His aim was not bad. But as you all watch these arcs of lightning, you see that one of them has gone past you all, seemingly firing at nothing. But it is in fact striking at a small form laying on the ground, which
Just
no
a little
longer
too much.
moves as it lays there.
She outlived the
Oh.
average kobold by 10 years.
That's
it's okay.
insane. This was so unexpected for me especially.
The ridiculous part is she was not the target of any of those attacks either.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Ooh.
And I
The last thing Pine did was she was like, I'll get out of the little hole.
I was
I'll talk
gonna
to
be
them. I'll draw all their attention. It's gonna
Hey,
be
live by the
fine."
goon, die by the goon.
I was
It's,
gonna
you
be
know,
so nice, but the ability says
Yeah.
up to 4, and there is no reason why this man with 1 health would not just go out firing at every possible thing that moves.
It would have felt bad if she
Well,
didn't take the hit.
Now
I think.
here's
It would've felt
the
cheap.
thing. The combat is not over. The witch
Yeah.
is still on the battlefield. The soldier technically is. CL, you are up next.
Okay. Can I, not counting as an action anything, just make a perception check to see how much CL contextually understands just happened?
I mean, I'll just give it to you. As incredibly dark as this is, Jess did say that when the explosion happened, Pine screamed, and the screaming has since stopped.
Yeah. Oh. Oh, Jesus.
CL yells, "Keep that soldier alive," and rushes the witch.
Oh boy. Okay.
Wait, for the dead soldier?
This is gonna be the
That
soldier's
one
not
HP
technically the soldier's
soldier.
not technically dead. He is on 1 HP.
Oh.
So he's all but dead, but he is literally like one punch to the face from just dying on the spot.
The squid isn't still there, is it?
No, I think it's gone. I think it leaves early.
You would
Wait,
think it'd be
that's
gone.
how we know the dissolving of the little squid friend.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's
That's
also
good.
true.
That's
Yeah,
That's Pine's
Squid
god
goes away.
abandoning or leaving.
Oh, Jess, we didn't ever really go too deep into your god. Still a factor, and now it's a factor that the DM gets to play with.
Oh, yeah.
We'll hit
I
that
can
later.
give you information about that after this.
No,
when you
dude,
need to. I got
when
you.
you have time, it's not going to happen in this episode, surely, but let me know.
I'll type something up. I've got a. I got a
Yeah,
thing.
let me know. I'm not going to just abandon that. Continue, Mike.
Okay, well, on that note, I guess I'm just gonna roll a flat attack roll with my hobby. Yeah, nope, that's a 3 on the die.
Nope.
2 rolls in a row. Fuck. Okay, then.
Nikhil just subscribed
Let
to the
me
Twitch.
see what else we have.
Nice
12
timing,
months,
Nikhil.
Matt.
We just
12
killed Pine.
months.
Thanks for the cash.
That's what sold me on it. I was like, this is $5 material.
I went.
Robin, you can't get for free.
This is $5 material. That was such a simple line, but that got Nikhil. Okay.
Episode title: $5 material.
No,
If
episode
I-
title has to be.
If I've done
episode
nothing
title
else
has
in
to
my
be
life,
7 men and a kobold. Episode title absolutely has to be 7 men and a
but
kobold.
that gives
Oh,
away
'cause that
so
gives it
much.
away.
That gives away so
Yeah.
much. Well, $5 materials on the list. We'll see. We have at least an hour and a half left in this episode. We'll see what else we can get to. Okay. Mike, did you have anything else you wanted to do?
I don't think so, because I used all my movement to get here. Can you still use the disengage action if you don't have movement remaining?
Yeah, it's a bonus action. Disengage.
All right.
Disengage is technically not like a movement. It just means this might not be exactly rules as written, but it basically means for the rest of the turn you will not take opportunity attacks.
Okay, well, in that case, is the witch holding anything?
Is the witch hold? That's a good question. I don't think at the moment, like she has stuff on her, but not like in her hands. She's been using her hands to cast spells and stuff. And then when she reaches for like a grenade or something, grabs it and throws it.
Okay, then. In that case, I won't take any of my cunning actions. I will stay here for now.
Why? Maybe don't.
Well, he's out of
I
movement
mean,
anyway,
disengage isn't going to move me.
Yeah, he's out of
Yeah, I've
movement.
used all my movement, so.
Ratch, you're up.
Okay.
This was such a normal day!
This was such.
It's a normal
I came into
day.
this episode being like, yeah, this combat will be chill, and then we'll get to other stuff. And
What's not chill, man?
ladies, gentlemen, and everyone else, the combat was in fact not chill.
USF
Oh.
government has been on screen for an hour, and already a kobold is dead.
Hey,
Um,
look, the TikTok ban's
It
getting
have.
fast tracked. It's fitting for my personal mood that I made the government do a murder this week.
is it actually more so?
Yeah, it's getting voted
They're
on
probably
tomorrow.
gonna-
Anyway, that's later.
Tomorrow?
They attached it to a national defense bill in the House because they're awful, awful people.
Oh, well then it might not go through.
It might not, but it's getting voted on tomorrow.
Oh.
Anyway,
Well,
that's
that
a-
requires them to agree on actual government.
that's
stuff, so
another
I have less
discussion.
confidence in that one.
Nikhil, Pine's dead. We can't talk about this now.
Fine is dead.
Pine is dead.
Pine's dead and we're discussing policy?
We're discussing anti-government shit. This is exactly what she would want.
That's actually very fair.
True.
Okay, so Ratch Ratch does not know how to feel in this moment.
Understandable.
Pine, he had just soured on because he thought that she was killing innocent people, and then those innocent people murdered Pine in front of him. So I'm thinking the ranking of innocent people has gone down, and he is going to attack the witch in whatever capacity I need to attack to not hit fucking CL that's also there. I guess up here.
Yeah,
But-
with the way they're positioned, you can place any of your spells so that it will not
Okay.
hit CL. Just cast it to
My
the left,
biggest
her
thing
left.
again I'm going to cast Fireball
Your
at
left.
4th level, and so that's a dex save of 15.
Just do a big old nuke. I'm happy to say, for the sake of the players, she does fail.
Lovely.
Ooh.
Let's hit this button. There's a 32 damage to the witch.
Jesus.
Holy shit.
Ratch is very upset. And then as a bonus action, who the fuck? Iggy is still a goddamn soldier, right? So I guess CL. I'm gonna give-
Yeah. And correct me if
I'm
I'm
gonna
wrong,
give
Iggy.
CL.
You have not dropped your disguise. You got noticed, but have not changed back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Continue then.
Because I
So
don't know if that costs something. to do.
Ratch is going to yell at CL, "The devil dies," and give him bardic inspiration.
All right. Well, here's the part that's going to be maybe a little disappointing, but also the narrative thing that needs to happen. And for the record, while there's no proof of this, something that I had determined was going to be the next action of the witch, regardless of turn actions, because she's blinded. She is going to cast Dimension Door. Yeah. So let me
This
make
is
sure
a
that there's
preview fight.
nothing weird here. I guess I should check. Iggy, there's not like a continued save she can make now to clear the blindness. I think if there would be one, it'd be at the end of turn, probably, right?
At the end of each of its, they can make a at the end of their turn, they can make a con save if it's
End of turn. Okay, end of turn.
End of turn. Yeah.
Now, with the way that that dimension.
Well, actually, I guess explain what Dimension Door is first, and then I have a request.
Dimension Door is basically no restrictions teleportation within 500 feet.
But is it a door, or is it like she's just gone?
You teleport yourself from your current location to any other spot within range. It is one of the best teleportation spells in the game, definitely the best at short range. It is basically the only weakness of Dimension Door is its range is 500 feet, but you don't need to see. You can describe yourself, like describe a location rather than point or look at anything. And
You can even take an object or
yeah,
person
she
the
can
same
take
size as you
objects
with you.
with her. And she does know this area decently enough that she can do. I mean, I guess I'll give her now. She came. She's teleporting in the direction of the base. She just came from there. She can get herself to an unoccupied location. And unfortunately, this is 500 feet away instantaneously in a jungle. I think it's going to be very difficult for anyone to see where she ends up. It is definitely not going to be within eye line. So,
Well, that's annoying.
well, yeah, and it's probably going to get worse. For purposes of timing here, I'm going to go ahead and say that this combat is over. That soldier there is at 1 health. It's a 1 health soldier. There's no need to stay in initiative order. I'm going to have to reset the cameras to go back to our normal spot, and also we're at 1 hour and 41 minutes. This feels, both production-wise and narratively, like a great time to take our break. Don't go anywhere. I don't think any of you will, since we're going to have to deal with the ramifications of Pine's untimely demise when we return. We will be back in just a couple of minutes. We are back. Hello, everybody. My audio should be good. I fixed the cameras while we were in break there, so we're all fine. I mean, we're not all fine. That was probably the wrong choice of words, but the cameras are fine. Before we hop back into the episode, I need to point out something really funny. For those who don't know, I'm type 1 diabetic, and I have a thing on my phone that monitors my blood sugar. It's like hooked into, you can actually see it. It's hooked into my arm, and it gives me a constant readout. My blood sugar was really high going into the episode because of some stuff that happened earlier today. But it also raises with like adrenaline and stress. And for the beginning of
Oh,
the
no.
episode, I could see my blood sugar curve going down slowly. And right about the time Pine started going down, you can literally see my blood sugar start to rise. It is a physical manifestation of that, which I thought was funny, just funny enough to note. Now, anyone want to say anything real quick before we hop back into the episode itself?
Like a funeral? Like, do you want to
Not
say
like a
words?
not like a
You
few.
were fine.
Not I meant outside of the setting. I can run over the announcements really quick. We have an award. Go ahead, Miguel.
I have a question.
No.
So 1 HP guy was not teleported
What
away,
I just
right?
say. No, 1 HP
Too
guy was
bad.
not. 1 HP guy was not teleported away. That guy is still there.
Nice.
And yeah, you don't have to be on the Roll20 anymore. I don't know if any of you guys still are. But unless you want to play this out in initiative, we are not going to. Quick announcements again, which I'm not going to do in detail. Kazlor next month. That's the next campaign after this one. You can nominate us for the Crit Awards if you want. If you're, happy with how Pine's death went out. No, that's not even for the show we're going. But yeah, that's pretty much the only announcements we have. I won't stall this any longer. That said, we're going to kind of just cut right back in immediately where we left off. The witch has teleported. Combat is over. What's the situation? It's in your guys' hands now.
I mean, I was literally running to her with a potion in my hand, so
Yeah.
I'm going to continue to do that, like not really realizing where we're at, and kind of like I scoop her up and try to help.
Yeah.
CL immediately goes for 1 HP guard, puts his hands behind his back. You are under arrest under the jurisdiction of the Kingdom of Spondulix for the murder of a knight of the kingdom. And you will be...
Wait. When he says that he's under arrest, Ratch walks up and shoots him.
What the fuck?
Well, so let's play this out here. This guy is terrified at the moment, right? He is essentially dead. His commanding officer has teleported away and abandoned him. This very creepy looking man, who also is now wearing the helmet of one of his dead squad mates, has walked up to him and started very angrily, and knowing CL, I think scarily calmly, speaking to him in a language he does not know. And as that is happening, this Minotaur walks up 5 feet and just finishes him off right there. That,
Not
if this
magic or
was
anything.
like video,
Revolver.
that would be truly a terrifying scene that just happened. It was scary now. But yeah, that's him. I'm not going to make Ratch attack roll for this, and any damage is going to do it. So he's
Great.
gone.
I'm gonna look at CL. The devils die.
Are you fucking serious? We sit at the apex, the nexus point of a conflict between nations, and we just had a criminal killing one of our own. We had a massive trump card politically, and you squander it for your superhero bullshit? Are you
Let's
insane?
Let's squander. It's fine. It's the same.
In the simple
bring-
fucking arithmetic of the universe, people alive are more useful than people dead, Ratch.
Not bad people.
Feels like the exact conversation Ratch was having about an hour ago.
Yep.
I assume at this point I'm perceiving that, half the superior potion or whatever that I have that I've been trying to give to Pine is not doing
Yeah.
anything.
It's
I'm scrambling at this point. I just really have no idea what to do in this moment. I take out the gold sword that I have and I don't know, touch it to her, touch it to her cane, start pouring the potion over the gold sword, trying to do something because I still don't understand what this is, or if I feel like
interesting.
like
How would
Pine had all this
this
potential that is
essence,
now.
yeah, how would this essence react to someone like Pine recently dead, like being actively exposed to that? I think this is the sword that you essentially sent into something that you do not know the details of,
Yes.
and then pulled back. I do think, though, you're not going to know the exact nature of this or reasoning behind it immediately. When you take this and get it near Pine, it is going to start glowing slightly.
I'm like panicking. I don't know what to do with it. Something is happening, but
I'm not going to...
So I'm just like...
Definitely going to have to at least give me a roll to see if you can narrow that down, and I'll go and tell you it'll be a hard roll.
Check, I guess?
Yeah, you can give me an Arcana check, but I will preemptively let you know it will not be an easy one.
I'm going to use my first luck of the day. Because that was a nat 1. And I'm
that's...
Not nat 1 in this roll. Holy shit. Using another luck. Fuck it. Okay. 19 Arcana.
19. Oh. 19 is pretty good.
Burns 2 luck points.
Burn 2 luck points for it, but you got a 19. That's quite good. I will not give you the exact specifics of like the thing that is happening here because of course this is still something that you don't entirely understand. But what I will say is that this blade visually appears liquid-like, right? All of this gold stuff, whatever its true nature be, it appears like a liquid. And from the ripples and the patterns that are appearing in this liquid as it grows, it almost seems like it's absorbing something. Like something is sort of dripping or flowing into it.
That's so...
If you continue holding it there, after some time, few seconds, however long, it will stop. There's no apparent change after that. You can definitely tell that something has happened, but not like from any sort of sense of change in the magic. It certainly looked like something happened. From the 19 Arcana check, you can tell that definitively. Unfortunately, you are not going to have a lot of time to analyze it now. Because from the base, a short ways off, you start hearing very loud alarms.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
I make the executive decision to I'm gonna mold earth underneath Pine and basically like bury her for now.
Interesting. Okay.
Because I think it would be hard to like carry her, and I think we need to run now.
How does carrying people work in D&D? Do you have to do things for that, or?
It's very situational. It also depends on who's doing it. I will say, with your size and Pine size, Ratch, I'd say you can do it without...
Pine being buried, I'm not gonna do it, but I
want to just for reference. For reference in this kind of situation, the short answer is it's very situational.
Okay.
But Iggy, give me a perception check as you do that.
Okay, I want to slightly adjust what I said.
Mm-hmm.
Not based on I want to bury her, but not. I want to take her cane with me.
Okay, yeah, you can take any mementos.
I feel like I'm gonna need to like show Janine or whatever something. I'm gonna need proof.
I will say, just for the sake of player convenience, you don't have to handle this now. But if you guys want to talk later or off camera or whatever, Jess, anything that was in Pine's inventory can be transferred to the rest of the party. You can handle that on your own time.
Okay, cool.
But yes, after
perception check.
Yeah, give me a perception check.
13.
13 will be enough. A moment after you seal the earth up over Pine, you feel a rumbling. And there's going to be some level of rumbling whenever you're doing a mold earth spell right next to you. It goes on for longer than it should. It does stop after a moment, but there is more rumbling.
So we got rumbling earth and alarms.
Yes.
Lovely.
You can do something with that if you like, or investigate that further. You do not have to, but just you note it.
I think we need to get out of here, guys.
Agreed. Ratch wants to pick up
We
the
should run in
guard and swing him.
of Shepard.
Oh yeah. Shepard has not showed himself yet. After
But we
this,
saw the direction his shots were coming from.
you saw the direction his shots were coming from. You know the rough direction. He obviously could have moved.
So that's the way Iggy starts running.
All right.
I'm going, but I'm taking the corpse of the dead guard with me.
Taking the corpse of the dead guard. All right. Just for the sake of fun, really quick here. You know what? Actually, never mind. We'll save that for an end scene of the episode. So I'll do that in like an hour. You guys start. You said in the direction of Shepard. Okay. Give me a. We're gonna do a check that we have not actually done very often in really D&Dorks at all. Everyone who's running, give me a survival check. You're trying to navigate to someone's path in a jungle scenario. See what you can do there.
Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Matt.
Yes. You sound so excited.
I never thought it would come up, but I have an advantage on anything to navigate because and survival checks because I have labyrinth recall because I'm a fucking minotaur.
Oh my god!
Oh yeah, that is an ability. Yeah.
I inherently know what direction is north, and I have advantages on anything that requires me to navigate something.
Yeah, I will give you that. That is a good application of that ability.
That's only a 21.
Such a situation. Oh, only a 21. That's enough. No one else even has to roll. Ratch, you easily are able to navigate this jungle terrain. And you know what? Actually, with a 21 and with that ability, I will say not only do you go to where Shepard was, I'll say you're able to analyze this scenario well enough that you like catch up to him as he is also booking it. So you guys see, maybe 20, 30 feet ahead of you as you are running. You see Shepard also running away from the base a bit ahead and can react.
I'm so happy I got to use that stupid ability. I was like,
that's not a stupid ability. That's a really good ability. It's just extremely situational, and this was a situation.
Very specific.
Yeah.
We're running, I guess.
Yeah, we run.
Okay.
We run until we can't run no more.
I guess I should say, are you just following him, or are you actively trying to like catch up to him, or are you going to wait and save any conversations for when you essentially stop running?
I think catch up to him, but then still clearly following him. Like he's leading the show here.
Give me another survival check. Same thing, same ability applies for an EQ.
Ooh, 17.
20.
That was a 12.
Well,
that was a terrible roll.
I mean, it worked out regardless. Ciel and Iggy, especially since you are not talking to Shepard at the moment, it takes you a second to notice this, but Shepard is not going in the direction of the hole that leads back to Spondylix, for what that is worth. You can continue following him, but that is information I wanted to communicate with you guys first.
CL would probably catch up to him and say, "Where are we going?"
Shepard does not stop his stride, but kind of takes a second to process, like, oh, you guys are here. He goes, I'm going back to a base that I have set up for myself temporarily. I recommend that you all go back to the kingdom and stay the hell out of this, because you have truly just made the situation worse.
Do you know how much worse?
I have a pretty good idea. I'm hearing the same alarms that you are at the moment, and I have a better idea of the enemy y'all are fighting.
Shepard Pine is dead. I'm afraid we can't extract ourselves from this anymore.
At that, you see him not stop, but stumble slightly in his stride. That does have some effect on him, though he does not let that show in his voice. He pauses for a second, goes, I'm sorry, I truly am. But at the same time, none of y'all should have been involved in this to begin with, and if you continue to be involved, I guarantee you it is purely going to get worse.
It will regardless.
You know that witch that y'all had to deal with a couple moments ago? I'm familiar with
Yes.
her, personally, in fact. She's a
I love the
mid-level
idea of
officer.
Shepard waiting.
A mid-level officer. Not in charge, nowhere near it. People who are in charge heard that alarm, they're definitely on their way. I don't think that's going to change your opinion at all, but I hope to God it does.
Yeah, but
See, I was gonna-
you're acting like we chose to be involved with this.
Well, you can always
The
choose
man-
not to.
I don't think we fucking can.
Ratch is just gonna gesture to the
I have
dead
not been able
person
to
on his
choose
shoulder.
the direction of my life for years. I worked with the fucking mob because it was my only chance to survive. And then got out. And the one man that showed me any sort of kindness got killed because of whatever the fuck is going on here. And then we found Catsby. And then because we found Catsby, we found you. And I thought that we were getting somewhere. And then Catsby ran away. You turned into a wolf. I'm sick of it.
At this,
I'm sick of not having a home. And all of these people coming in to this place that I'm supposed to be. And just, you're not even from here, man. Like, what are you? This is our home that these people are invading. And you are too, basically.
At this, Shepard stops in his tracks, actually, and he turns around to address you guys. I assume you all stop to listen to this, but if any of you would like to keep running, that is totally on the table. This is obviously a crisis situation. But he is addressing Iggy specifically here. He says, look, I understand y'all see this as an invasion, and from their perspective, he points over to the base. It definitely is, but my side in this conflict, not really a good side either, I'll be the first to admit it, but my motivations are up there. If I got to pick this scenario, none of y'all would be involved. It would be me and my people versus them and their people. They don't see it the same way. You all...
Well, we are involved now. And we have done nothing but try to help you.
You all seem like good people. Genuinely, I have met enough bad people in my time that I can know good people when I see them. Some of y'all scare me, but I think deep down there's good motivation somewhere in those hearts of yours. The game we are all playing is not one that good people can participate in. You can try to be involved if you like, but I have no guarantee on who's going to come out the other side and what the people who make it out the other side are going to look like afterwards.
I have killed people. I stopped being a good person about 2 minutes ago. Now we just see it through.
Finish your thought.
So now we just see it through. That's the end.
Shepard kind of raises a finger, points it at you, Ratch, and then pauses for a second like he was going to say something and stops, but then finishes the thought for a moment and goes, much as I hate to say it, you're getting somewhere now. Welcome to the club.
Well, on the topic of being
not
a
allowed
good
to be a good
person, and I never really started in the first place.
All right, that's 2 for 2.
Seems like whenever I try to be a good person, people die. This isn't the first time. But I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I need to do to make it the last time.
Shepard chuckles at that. He kind of starts jogging in the direction he was going as he was speaking, seeming to realize that you guys are maybe a little bit more on his side in this conflict, whatever that side may be. But he addresses your comment as you're walking. He goes, well, if you're trying to get people to not die, I don't recommend joining my side here, but for what it's worth, we might be able to keep the wrong people from dying.
And at this, I want to, not in a threatening way, brandish my gold sword because I don't. Shepard has not seen this yet, and
he has not seen this. On you brandishing that sword, you see him just instinctively half go for his rifle, and he stops himself before actually grabbing it, but that reaction is, oh shit, immediately. And goes, oh, well that, god damn, you people are just full of surprises, and I wish you'd stop for 20 fucking minutes. That changed things. Put it away for now, and we'll deal with it in a minute.
back in my scabbard.
With that, he shuts up and keeps running. If anyone has anything to say to him on the journey here, you are free to do so, but I will leave that in your hands.
It's running time.
Yeah.
Yep. All
This
right.
is a solemn day.
After a bit of running, the alarms start to fade into the distance, and you reach a very small... a cave, honestly, isn't even really the word to describe it. It's like an extremely small offshoot tunnel of this larger cavern. It is kind of hidden behind some collapsed rocks that seem like they've been there for a very long time, not something that Shepard set up. And behind these rocks is a small access to a very, very, very tiny tunnel. But inside this tunnel, there is a lantern, a earth lantern, I should say, not a fantasy lantern, that Shepard turns on, revealing, again, a very small, very makeshift camp that he seems to have set up for himself. It is somewhat futuristic Earth standard. There is what I would describe as a computer there, like a little laptop station, not that you guys would know what that is. But for people in a fantasy setting, the basics of this are understandable. There is like a fire there, there's some bags, there's like a little piece of cloth and everything that's been set up as a makeshift tent against one wall. Shepard immediately goes over to this computer and starts typing on it without saying a word to you yet. He's gonna be. He's gonna be typing there for a minute. So if anyone wants to say anything,
Ciel's attention immediately goes to the soldier, presumably being carried by Ratch.
Forgot you had that, but yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Ratch, were you carrying two bodies?
No, Pine's buried. I just got the
Oh,
one
right.
that I shot.
Yeah, I knew that.
I mean,
There were
you still
rumbles,
have
remember?
bits of
I
Valentine.
know. I
on you.
totally knew
And
that.
I also have Valentine's bits in a lighter
You
tone.
have 1.05 dead bodies on your person.
Okay.
I don't know why we grabbed this one instead of Pine, but it is good we have this one.
Why?
We need to take...
Why is that good? Now it's just a corpse I got to deal with.
Well, if you have any
Because-
questions, we can ask it.
We can
That's
ask the
why-
It is-
corpse.
Yes. What? How do you think I do my detective work? Who else are you supposed to interrogate?
He
Once again-
closes the laptop, turns around to you, and goes, "Can you speak with the goddamn dead, Ratch?"
Briefly.
Well, by all fucking means, I'd love to see this.
Is CL also shocked, or does CL know what this is? I don't know if this is your face, Mike, or CL's.
It is Ciel's face because he says, I meant he killed Pine, who was officially a knight of the kingdom. This is an act of aggression from this governmental body against our own. That is huge leverage, and
See,
we need
that's
any
wonderful.
evidence.
That's great information. I don't give a single solitary shit. The Minotaur just said he can talk to dead people.
Briefly.
Briefly. Thank you
Okay.
for correcting me. Go.
It's important to know.
Go. Start now.
All right. Then, yeah, I take him off, position him somewhere, I guess, on the ground, and I cast Speak with the Dead.
No. You don't get to gloss over position the corpse somewhere on the ground. What are you doing, Nikhil?
I guess I'm like, is there chairs, or I could just drop him?
This
Ratch
is like lean
doesn't
him
care
up
for the
against a
man.
rock. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Like,
You
he
lean
doesn't- he's not gonna
lean this
keep
man
something.
up against a rock.
And I cast Speak with Dead.
All right. There's several similar
5 questions.
spells in 5e. Read me the exact specifics of that for my note.
You grant the semblance of life and intelligence to a corpse of your choice within range, allowing it to answer the questions you pose. The corpse must still have a mouth and can't be undead. The spell fails if the corpse was the target of the spell within the last 10 days. Until the spell ends, you can ask the corpse up to 5 questions. The corpse knows only what it knew in life, including the languages it knew. Answers are usually brief, cryptic, or repetitive, and the corpse is under no compulsion to offer a truthful answer. It's just them, but they're just back.
Yeah, the reason I had you do it was the language thing. You do have Shepard there to translate, but I just needed to know if that translation, had to happen. So, this guy, I mean, I'm imagining this roughly like the D&D movie, because there is actually, weirdly, a live-action depiction of this exact spell that we can reference. It's underrated movie, by the way. That movie did not get as much hype as it deserved for people in the audience. It's genuinely great.
I love that scene. It was so exact of like even fucking up the questions. It was beautiful.
Well,
It's
yeah,
like,
here's the funny thing. It has been actively stated that necromancy is not Shepard's department. So when this guy starts moving around, he's gonna look and be like, "Did you do the thing?" He asked that to Ratch. So that does not technically go to. But note that he is. It should indicate that he's loose with it.
Ratch, I guess, nods. Ratch is gonna be very careful. This is his whole bread and butter. I was not kidding with this.
This is I actually really love this, that in Ratch's like most traumatic moment, we are genuinely getting like, this is one of the things the character was built to do. That's great. When you nod, Shepard just once again does like this sweeping gesture towards it, like, go, do the thing.
I don't know what we want to know. I know everything. If I just say a question, it doesn't count, right? Like if I ask the
See, the hilarious thing about if we go by D&D movie logic rules, it's extremely loose with it. The fun thing about this is that the language barrier is actually working so heavily in your favor here, because only one person can fuck it up. The whole party, most of the party can't. Only one person can fuck it up right now. So that's actually great.
Because Ratch has practice with this, that he is going to relay to OCL and Iggy that how we have 5 questions, and whatever you want to know, hit it in my language so that the guy's not affected.
So Shepard is then going to turn and just phrasing it specifically like this. He's going to be like, I'm assuming we need to be careful about what we say.
Yes.
He just nods and does not speak again.
Well, we need him to say it.
And does not speak unless trigger. You get what I mean. He's not asking stupid things to the room. He's zoned in with the rest of you.
So
we need official record of this event. So we
I mean, I got a couple cameras. Do you know what that is?
No.
So
what is a camera?
For context of how this would actually be in universe, he basically said just like, I've got a couple. How did that happen? You have no idea what that word means.
And CL looks at him like he's just said a made-up gibberish word.
Yeah.
No. What is a camera?
I hate this. I hate every goddamn second of being down here. I want to go home. It's like a thing you can use to capture moving pictures. Just don't worry about it. It'll keep record of whatever he says. Trust me, the people that we need to lord this over will understand.
Set it up.
Perfect.
Set it up. We have 10 minutes.
Funny enough, he takes out his phone, which you guys have been using for a while, and you don't. So, and then he starts recording, which will just be happening for the rest of this interaction.
Then we ought to ask, did you kill Knight of Spondylix, Pine? Did Pine have a surname? Did Pine have a government surname? Did Pine have a government anything?
She never told you all anything other than Pine, but she does have a full name.
Did she tell the king anything other than Pine is the question.
Okay.
I think we saw every... Well, you guys didn't. The rest of the players didn't see the other interactions between Pine and the king. She did not.
I
Great.
do not
Then
know any other pines,
whatever-
and there are literally no other knights of Spondulix. So
Yeah,
this
exactly.
is
whatever the
specific enough.
original thing someone wrote down that she was flashing in the first place definitely just says pine. So I think we don't
Yes.
need to worry about last name.
Now, funny enough, you guys have hit on. Okay. Oh, this is really fun. I get to roll. We're gonna just do a flat wisdom check for Shepard because since he's the translator, if you guys, this is gonna be such a good. The language barrier is saving you guys so much because if there's a question that I, as the DM, see a loophole in, I get to wisdom save it through Shepard to see if he picks it up before translating it. This is like Danganronpa now. He's not gonna pick this up, and he's gonna communicate the question, which you guys hit on a really interesting point, which is that you don't know Pine's surname. This guard doesn't know Pine's name at all, so the guard responds, "I don't know who that is," and Shepard relays it back to you guys, looking annoyed. So that's one down. This is such a classic D&D thing that I actually, as a DM, don't think I've ever gotten to do before. This is so much fun for me.
This is so much fun to watch and not be in a position to fuck up.
You can't say anything, Jess.
I'm happy I could deliver for you guys.
Yeah, this is great.
Fetch is gonna see this not work and just hold up 4 fingers to see how.
When Shepard picks, this is gonna be such a. This is such a niche reference, but whenever Shepard picks up a flaw in your logic, you're just gonna go, "No, that's wrong."
No, that's wrong.
Mike knows exactly. Okay. Anyway, moving. Did I just turn off my camera by mistake? I did. Okay. Apparently, if I hit space, it turns off my camera in Discord. Genuinely didn't know that. The chat didn't see that. But, We got time in this episode.
We got
like an hour.
We could just start with, did you kill a resident from underground?
Or a kobold.
Or well, I don't know if he knows what a kobold is.
A little lizard person.
Did you kill a creature in that skirmish? But that's not super damning. Did you kill the lizard creature in our skirmish?
Did you kill the lizard creature?
I guess what's his face? Shepard would translate what he sees the kobold as. So we should be like, he'd be like the orange lizardy thing. Like he would.
Yeah, I will allow that language barrier wise. You can tell Shepard to be more specific rather than, or actually, I guess, to be more vague in a language that works. So did you kill the orange lizard in our previous conflict? Yes. That's question 2.
Okay.
Want to know what they're doing down here? Why they attacked us?
We kind of knew. I suppose. Shepard, do you know what that camp was for?
He does know roughly. I'm just trying to think what the best way to describe this easily would be. At this point, I think he's gonna be a little bit more open with you guys about specifics of everything that's going on. I think that's been earned at this point. So he's gonna turn and be like, "Yeah, I believe that was their primary outpost for the harvesting mission."
Harvesting mission.
Yeah.
Harvesting what, Shepard?
Oh boy, that's not an easy concept to sum up in a nice little nutshell. There's a lot of stuff that goes on the surface that would take quite a bit of context to explain to you all quickly. Essentially,
Pull out the golden sword.
Yeah. It's. I know. Put that damn thing away. It's that essentially what they're trying to harvest. See, our world up there, it's got a lot of weird shit going on. But it's weird shit that the government has not really been able to get their hands on effectively. It's more of an individual thing. They discovered this place down here, Spondulix, as you call it. This is a very magically charged area. A lot of things happen here. A lot of stories happen down here. And through the damn cat, through a process that I cannot claim to understand fully, so don't bother asking, they can essentially siphon off the storylines of Spongelix and use them for their own purposes.
What?
And when you
That's
say
insane.
storylines, you mean the events of our lives?
Yeah, they can sort of... Again, it's tied to a lot of complicated arcane concepts. You know how you're going to do things in the future?
Is this a military-industrial entertainment complex?
Oh, no. It's not for entertainment. They're not using them for stories. They are taking your potential, your magical potential as weird little critters living down here, and they are fully going to steal it from you and weaponize it.
So it's our potential.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It's not potential energy.
It's not potential energy. It's
our
the potential of the folks down here.
What
Well,
does
you took
weaponizing
mine.
look like?
Can take a lot of forms. Primarily, how do I put this in your words? Government wants powerful people on their side, right? I think every organization does. If you take enough harvested potential and you inject it right into a person, they're essentially becoming a forced protagonist. Makes a lot of things go their way, gives them a lot of abilities that they do not necessarily have otherwise. Essentially, they can steal everybody's potential and turn it into... Not sure if this metaphor is gonna work real well down here, but up there we'd call it a plot armor.
You fucker. All right.
Yeah,
That's out of character.
they're using
God damn it.
they're stealing potential from magical beings and turning it into literal weaponizable plot armor.
Matt,
And-
your brain is fascinating.
I hope
Then
that's a
you were
good.
like,
I hope that's a good type of
Such a good
fascinating.
concept.
Literal plot armor.
Dude,
I
the
love it.
Agents of Hades universe runs deep. I have thought about this stuff for years. It's cool. There's a lot of cool things that happen up there.
God,
So
I love
some-
Question. Well, first mechanical question.
Mhm.
Shepard's recording this on his phone, right?
Yeah.
So he's entirely heard on the recording.
Yeah.
Great.
So somehow taking the potential of everything being could be confers this,
I'm not going to
let's
cut you
call
off
it a
right now.
universal bias onto a person.
Something like that. Did the Minotaur not say we had 10 minutes?
We do,
You're right.
but
You're right.
We can
Later,
have this
later,
discussion.
later,
I think it's a good discussion to have, but I do want to push it
I-
back 6 or 7
This is
minutes.
not- this is not a one-time thing. It should be said. We just gotta wait 10 minutes each time. But as long as we keep the corpse around until it, goes the way of corpses.
Isn't it
This
10
is the
days?
exact reason I hate dealing with undead
It
shit.
says 10 minutes.
Wow, I have used that wrong my entire forever.
I don't know. Wait, it can't be 10 minutes. Because
Either
that's
way,
not
yeah.
how it goes in the movie, which I know I
Even
really
then,
shouldn't be using as a
there-
rule
The
book.
movie
It goes-
gets so much
It
wrong.
goes until you ask the 5 questions, or the duration is 10 minutes. Oh wait, no, the spell fails if the corpse was targeted spell within the last 10 days. You're right.
Yeah, that's the part. That's the part I was
The
questioning.
duration is 10 minutes.
Yeah,
I
the
was wrong.
duration is 10 minutes. The cooldown is not 10 minutes. I was like, that's insane. That cannot be. Yeah.
Well, then we have to wait a longer time, but it's still, we can do it again if needed.
Yeah, you just have to keep a rotting corpse for 10 days every time. But I mean, honestly, jokes aside, it is a possibility that could happen.
Yeah.
Continue. You have 3 questions remaining.
So, okay.
If we want to get more specific, we could always ask if he killed the person wielding that thing, and I point to the Pine's cane. That
I
could be
think
more
we've-
damning.
I
We
think
just
we've
have
handled-
Orange Wizard right now.
We've
I,
handled
uh,
enough. Go ahead, Iggy.
I think it'd be better to ask this thing. I mean, we can run it through Shepard first, but wouldn't it be better to ask if there was a way? I mean, I'm assuming this guy's not very high up. He seems to be like a soldier, but
Shepard confirms
soldiers are generally privy to things that need to be protected, things that might be more vulnerable than other things. I think we should ask them, like, I don't want them here. I don't want them stealing our potential.
You certainly do
what
not.
the fuck?
That's
Can
what Catsby
we
does,
ask
whatever.
if this guy knows, what would hurt them the most? or
I think
you know,
specifically
any holes
we-
in their
Shepard-
defenses, things like that.
Shepard considers that, and you're like, it's a good line of thinking. You're going to want to be more specific, but I like where your head's at.
I think we should be asking if he knows of a specific device that does the harvesting. Something they were clearly protecting at this base.
Yeah. Or just what he was protecting at the base. In general.
But
What
then
and
he
where?
could just say personnel. Maybe he'll say the witch is what he was guarding, and that's.
Well, the witch doesn't make garden. But no, yeah. We can ask what the harvesting weapon is. Or mechanism is.
Okay, that's a specific enough question. The guy is going to respond after being translated through Shepard. I'm not going to bother with voices or anything, so I can be sure to give you accurate information. I'll have to split my energy. Essentially, you're asking what the harvesting mechanism is? Was that the question?
What are they specifically using?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that question because it's general. It is not like what's the most important piece. It's what's the mechanism. So the mechanism, the part that the soldiers are guarding, largely has to do with those statues that are dotted around this area, which is probably not surprising. The sort of lower part of this mechanism is something that they have sent in to be like an absorption point that then goes up to these statues. You do not know exactly what that is from this soldier's description. Might be able to guess by your own info, but this guy does not know. These statues route things into something in the base, and then that goes up to the surface. So it is the conduit in Spondylix itself, the statues to the primary thing up to the surface. So there is a primary... someone's honking their car outside my house. There is a primary thing that they are guarding for what that's worth. 2 questions remaining.
We got
We
here
ask
looking
it how
for the
we can-
cat. Do we want to ask if he's seen the cat?
I feel like out of character. I feel like he just told us what the cat is, and that seems, at least to me, seems less important than can we stop the flow going up, and out of Spondylix. Like, I think we should ask if there's a way to cut off the flow. 'Cause I assume if we destroyed all of the big golden statues, that would do it, or something like that. But there's got to be a choke point. There's got to be something that is more, rather than nuking the whole thing. There's got to be like, whether it is if it's taking out Gatsby, or if it's that we can sabotage it on the back end or something. I think that's more where we should, out of character, that's where we should direct.
Are you saying this? Are you floating these ideas in character as well? I'm kind of assuming that everything's being said in this interaction is being floated around, so that Shepard can comment on
I'm
it.
just
basically.
not. I'm not saying it.
You're not phrasing it as a question, but yeah. In that case, Shepard will respond to that as, that would probably be a good thing to know. I doubt that a random soldier is going to have the specifics on that sort of information.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, that's reasonable. It's a reasonable assumption.
And again, remember, Shepard could be wrong. Don't take everything Shepard says as necessarily a DM hint. I am still in character as Shepard, and Shepard is working with you guys now and trying to be genuinely helpful. But I'm not metagaming as Shepard. We'll put it that way.
Shepard, do you have an idea of how big their operation is down here, or would someone someone on the inside giving you the scope of things be helpful?
That's a good question. What would he know about the specific? When you say scope of the operation, like, what do you
mean? Like how many soldiers
numbers?
are down here? How many plot armored people we have? Numbers and such.
Okay. Numbers of soldiers he does not know specifically. It's a good chunk. It's not something that this, if this group alone tried to storm the base, probably would not go super well. But what he does know, and again, to make sure I'm giving accurate information, not going to bother with the voice, most of the potential is being put up to the surface. They do not have much, if any, resource down here to actually do a conversion. This is the harvesting operation. The magic takes place at the surface. That said, certainly possible that they have sent down like a few elite operatives, etc., to, you know, act as higher level enforcement. But the majority of people in this operation are not actually benefiting from what they are harvesting at the moment. And he says this pretty definitively, like he has, you know, insider information, which you can assume he does to some extent.
And these are not Shepard's people.
Sorry,
right? These are
Shepard says that, or the corpse says that?
Shepard says that. I do not believe you asked this question to the corpse. If that was the intent.
Right, I was just making sure. No, well, I mean, it was if Shepard didn't know.
Yeah, so you communicate that to Shepard. Shepard gives you that information. If you would like him to also ask the corpse, you can do that, but that was what he knows.
Shepard?
Hmm?
Do you know if he would have known where he was? What exactly is the clearance on knowledge of Spondulics and the greater scope of their operation?
Shepard doesn't know. Shepard is not sure what the clearance on, like, I guess I'll do this. From my experience, which could be entirely incorrect, mind you, I guess he knows why he's here. I don't think he knows the specifics of what he's actually doing. I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean he'd be for or against it, but with these military types, especially the more Black Ops things, everything's need to know, and this random asshole likely didn't need to know.
I mean, they killed one of us just for being around. I don't think they'd be very sympathetic to the cause if they knew.
It's not about sympathy, I suppose. I was just curious.
As much as I hate to say this, I should interject. We have a pretty much single species society up there, with some exceptions more in recent years, but largely single species. This man did see what, from his perspective, would, no offense, be considered monsters in his eyes. It is not entirely prejudice that motivated his actions, I'd have to say.
Seeing what he believed to be monsters and then attacking them is prejudice.
Did you attack them first? Because I attacked them first.
Wearing
You
armor
attacked
and
them
a trench
first.
coat and
I do believe every single one of you
surrendered.
technically.
That's a damn sure.
Yeah, Pine surrendered. But
Pine surrendered. I was invisible. He was in a hole. CL took the guy's helmet, but that was stealth. The guy didn't know. And then fucking Shepard caused the fight by shooting the guy.
It's also worth noting that this man was on 1 out of 50-something HP after an extended fight with you all.
The thing we're doing.
I'm saying he's probably not. I'm not justifying his actions.
Looking at a creature that is actively surrendering and being like, that looks like a monster, and shooting it is the definition of prejudice. Like, that's.
I'm not saying I'm justifying his actions, but I'm also saying you cannot take this as him being, yeah, let's go murder some people.
Ratch is absolutely taking it like that.
Ratch can, but for note, out of character. Yeah, by the way, your 10 minutes are certainly almost up.
We've got like 2 left. We gotta hit it really fast.
In fact, I think 2 left is more than generous. I'm going to set a timer for 2. I'll pause it when I'm talking to be entirely fair, but you guys have got 2 minutes left of your debate.
We don't have a ton of time. Get a question out before we have to wait 10 days.
Is there a timeline? Like, I would say, like, do they know, like, in 2 days this person's coming, or, you know, anything that's, like, is there a timeline?
Have Shepard just
tell us.
Okay, that question is approved. I'll pause the timer to communicate. This guy says specifically, he says, I don't know the original timeline, but I know something happened to move it up. And for the when did Valentine die? That was only a couple hours ago, right? Whatever in-universe time that would be, he's going to be very specific about it. So let's say, for the sake of the line, that it's going to be like 6 hours. He says, like, there was a timeline, something happened 6 hours ago. Whatever it is now moved up. I do not know what it is now. Timer restarted. You have 1 question remaining.
Shepard, you were very excited that I could speak with the dead. What did you want to know from him?
Wasn't really excitement about any sort of. I didn't know that it was going to work exactly like this. It's just a generally helpful ability to have. If I'd known it was this limited, I probably wouldn't have suggested we do it now. I
said briefly.
Well, I didn't know it was going to be 5 questions in 10 minutes. Fucking asshole. How's your goddamn magic's always so specific?
Do we have a question or?
I don't.
By my timer, he looks at his phone where I'm going to say retroactively that he also set a timer. You got 56 seconds.
What was his name?
Yeah.
No. Don't waste a question like that. Don't humanize him. If we start humanizing, we just had a whole conversation about sides here. We can't go humanizing them now.
Do you have any communication or tracking devices on you presently?
Now that's a goddamn excellent question. He relays that. Oh, he 100% does. You had 34 seconds remaining. Yeah, he does have like a walkie-talkie that is also going to have like locational stuff on it.
Good job, CL.
Saved us a potential
34 seconds.
I was thinking too big about lore stuff. We need the practical, we need the mechanical, we need those fucking GPS
I blinded
stuffs.
you with lore. But you got there. So you passed the constitution check, you cleared the blindness. There you go.
Question. That was good.
All right, so we are while we are now out of the 10-minute hard limit on your questions, presumably you are now in a different kind of time scenario. So take that as you will. Back to you guys. Shepard, by the way, is going to immediately go for it and try to smash it unless anyone's stopping him.
Wait.
We don't know what.
I'm gonna give you 4 seconds to talk, considering you were the one who had this idea in the first place.
Technology is useful. Don't smash it yet. Maybe we can turn off the locating.
Excellent idea, CL. You know how to do that? Because I fucking don't. I was gonna smash it. Did you think I would have gone to smash it if I knew how to turn it off?
We could plant it.
Not a horrible idea. Where do you want to plant it? Actually, no, I don't know where on Earth we'd plant. I mean, I guess we could leave it here, but I don't want to give him any clue. They already know where here is. Screw it. He's going to take out his rifle and just shoot it.
Cool.
But the walkie-talkie?
With that, he is going to... Yeah, he shoots the walkie-talkie. And then immediately starts going to pack up his camp.
Mm-hmm.
And where are you going now, Mr. Shepard?
Gonna figure that out as soon as I'm not here anymore.
And what about us? We just had a whole bonding exercise about how we're gonna do this together.
I didn't say I was going alone. You're more than welcome to come with, as long as you do it halfway subtly.
I start helping him pack up however I can. Like if there's obvious boxes or things, that I start putting things in things.
He looks at you, nods without a word, starts directing you to stuff that you can help with.
I hoist the corpse back over my shoulder.
He pauses at that, but then is like, well, I mean, I guess we can ask it questions in 10 days. We did get rid of the tracker. Okay, whatever.
We have 10 days.
I truly keep wanting to ask Jess what Pine is doing, and then I'm like,
decomposing, I think.
Yeah,
we gotta go find a way to reconvene with Janine.
Every time you think that, Matt, there's just a cutaway to Janine, like just sitting there doing.
Janine sipping coffee, like,
whatever.
Where's my wife? Is she coming home soon?
Yeah, my wife is out there somewhere.
She went out with her friends. I'm sure she's having a great time.
Is Janine Pine's wife?
That was gonna be a secret throwaway joke later on. Is that so? Yes.
Oh God!
Now it's just sad.
Oh God! Ciel, what are you doing in the camp packing?
Team.
Is it sad? I hope it's not sad.
She's gonna build the new system.
Oh well.
Oh my God!
Well, this conversation was going so well.
If Ratch is just going to pick up the corpse and CL isn't nice enough to immediately help it start moving, he's going to have a word with Ratch. And he just walks up to him and puts a finger on his chest. you need to stop the bullshit you've been doing. And don't ask me for specific
Bullshit.
examples because you know what I'm talking about.
Ratch genuinely does it.
You were out of line killing that guy you're holding.
The
And I would
day
like a-
I take ethic lessons from you is the day I put a bullet in my own head.
How is it that your skull is so thick that no new ideas enter, yet so vacuous that the ones that are in there echo so much that they fail to resemble anything that is reality? I'm not lecturing you on ethics. I'm lecturing you on the specifics, the mechanics of gaining power and staying alive.
I don't care about power, and I stay alive by killing bad people. And I do learn new things. For instance, this guy's dead. That's new.
Whether we like it or not, and I certainly don't, we're on a team now. So I would appreciate a little bit less tyranny and a little bit more democracy in the big decision making.
There is no tyranny. Just what needs to be done. Pine killed someone that I arrested. Don't remember a lot of outrage about that. You
When did
weren't
that
there,
happen?
actually. That's really funny. I forgot about that, but CL was not present.
You were the only one there.
That was in
Have
the
no-
Iggy voice, and I do truly want to believe that he's just on the other side of this small cavern, not looking back, just
No.
like, yeah, you weren't there.
Valentine is the one that I did the whole handcuffs thing with, and then she one-shotted, was what I was getting at. The other one Pine killed. I was the only one.
You're a fucking monster who doesn't know thyself. You're a coward who
Look at
hides
yourself.
behind the concept of
You
good
literally
to rob
hide.
yourself of any responsibility for your actions. Oh, killing this person couldn't be a bad idea. They're bad. Says who, Ratch? You? The one pariah, the one decider of moral good. Oh yeah, that must be a good person, not someone playing God. Get the fuck over yourself,
Theo,
man.
how many people have you killed for money? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You ascribe to fucking dollars. I ascribe to morals. I killed one person in my entire life, and it's because they killed our friend. What are you mad about? How am I God, you weird little man?
I mean, Ratch, you killed him in cold blood. The fight was over. I mean,
I'm not
about Yell. That's something
CL?
you're gonna have to wrestle with.
I understand
deal with?
what I have done, and I understand the stain it has put on my heart, but I'm not going to be lectured by some freaking idiot that killed for basically fun. How many people have you killed in cold blood, CL?
What? You know what? It's fine. I've just realized you're a child. Because you established that I kill for money and then said that I kill for fun. You have
No
a
one
fundamental
needs money.
misunderstanding of how the world works, Ratch, because they do need money. They do need a place to live and a place to sleep. And they do need a place in whatever society is currently there. And if that's a better, higher place, that is a better, higher thing to have. I'm not going to sit here and be called a fool because I'm the only one who kills and gets something for it, provably.
You have no morals or basis of understanding.
I'm going to scout up ahead. I'd like to learn what the caves look like. Catch up with me when you're done packing, please. CL goes up the path.
As you leave, CL, without turning away from the packing, Shepard is going to say something that you don't have a lot of context for at the moment, but will maybe matter later. He's going to, loudly enough that both of you can hear it, say, the irony of all this is that Narthex would love both of y'all for the exact same fucking reason.
And what reason is that?
We'll get there when we get there.
Oh, fuck you, dog man. And CL leaves.
He flips you off without looking back and continues with his packing. That was a fucking... oh my god.
Jesus
Great
fuck, Mike.
lines from that.
Yeah.
Great
Jesus
lines from that.
you.
What was the line? I ascribe to morals, you ascribe to dollars sounded like something out of a Punisher comic. Holy shit.
Yeah, I'm going real Punisher now. I gotta
Yeah.
I have one real basis I'm drawing from.
That
at
was
this point.
crazy.
Listen, it suddenly became a dramatic
Getting
episode,
five.
all right?
No, this episode
didn't
started off as like, oh yeah, a little goon fight, and it has exploded in scope.
I genuinely the most amount of improv I do in any D&D game so far has been like random one-liner jokes, and usually the whole bit is that it's not helpful. I was not prepared for that conversation, and I was not able to respond as
thrived.
eloquently as I'd
That
like.
was
You
great.
killed it.
That
That was
was-
so good. You both were amazing.
That was great. Both Jess and I individually, neither of us wanted to speak and interrupt, but both Jess and I individually in the chat were like, guys, this is crazy.
Yeah, I had to say something in chat.
I know,
could not
same.
interrupt that.
I didn't want to
Oh.
say. You can see, I mouth at one point. I pointed to Kill and I'm like, that was a banger line. Anyway,
All three of
great
you have
job.
killed it this episode.
That
because,
was great.
Jake had the line about like every time I try to do the right thing, people fucking die, and like I'm tired of not having a
Well,
home. And I was like,
Your sad,
Oh.
we're getting into the after show territory of complimenting
Yeah.
each other,
Yes.
but your like sad backstory reveal was so good.
That was excellent.
Shivers.
What?
If you like more unpacking and compliments, check out the after show.
Yeah,
The whole
what a-
chunk was literally what we do on the after show.
What a great little advertisement for our after show of, do you
Oh.
want to see us all complimenting each other for half an hour every week? But we do analysis, I swear to God. An alternative title for this episode is 3 Speeches at a Funeral, but I don't think we're going to... Anyway... That one's awesome. We'll decide later. We don't have to decide that on live. We can ask everyone else their opinion, the rest of the D&Dorks people, if we really want to take a vote. Anyway, Iggy, yeah, you were gonna.
Were we? So I don't know exactly how long we were at Shepherd's Place. Were we there
15
long
minutes.
enough to get a short rest?
You were there for the entire duration of the 10-minute spell. You were there for 2-3 minutes prior, I would say at most.
Before that, okay.
And packing, even if I'm generous, packing probably took 10. So less than half an hour.
Okay.
I'm going to be entirely honest with you guys. My original plan for this episode, and this is also after show, but it's relevant enough I want to say now. The reason that combat at the beginning happened in my mind was it was less this is going to be a lethal thing. This is going to be resource depletion for the rest of the episode. And sometimes the dice don't roll that way. But yeah, the resource depletion is definitely still a factor here.
The resource
all
of
right.
Pine, she is depleted.
I wasn't going to be the one to say it out loud, and now I haven't been. So
Okay.
thank you.
Me
All
too.
these fires are made for 4 people, and we have 3 now.
Okay,
Oh
so
my god.
man, Jess,
You
you
got a
just get
question
cursed
in.
to sitting in the dying early and sitting in for the remainder of episodes. I hope this one has been entertaining to sit here during. We do need to
I
move on
watched
at
the
least a
show.
little bit.
It's like having a front row seat.
We're still under 3
Yes,
hours.
at least we didn't die
do
during
a
the
whole other
episode where we
scene.
were just throwing swords and flipping coins.
That's crazy that this episode is under 3 hours and half of its combat. So much has been jam-packed into the last hour. Anyway.
But character death is an absurd
Oh,
Yeah.
shift in
Yo,
the narrative.
100%. It's not unexpected given the context, but wow. We are at this point. Shepard, with Iggy's help packing, has packed up all of his stuff. I will say, mostly for the sake of convenience, but also it's believable. He does have some sort of equivalent to a bag of holding-esque backpack that lets him carry this camp without too much difficulty. It's not like an insane pouch bag of holding that fits the whole camp, but it's it's a pack.
That corpse fit in there?
I'm not putting a corpse into my backpack.
Would you rather have him handicapped the whole time? 'Cause I don't think he's going to put it down.
I'm not
Maybe-
totally handicapped. I got one free.
Any of y'all got a garbage bag we could put it in? Or I don't know what y'all know about corpses, but there's anything in their digestive
I
system.
know.
Once they're
I know
out,
a
it
good
comes
bit.
out. I don't want that getting into
I know
my...
a good bit about corpses.
I have
I
a water skin in my
You could have fit a
yeah, I
man
have a
in
water
it?
skin.
Why are you shrugging?
wanna-
No? You don't have a man-sized water skin?
No.
if we want to go back,
I'm
I
not gonna make this enough of a scene that we have to spend time on it. He is begrudgingly going to shove the man in the pack. It doesn't fit great. You can see like a hand kind of sticking out of the side, but it goes in there enough.
Oh yeah.
Shepard takes a few steps out of this cavern, and then kind of just pauses for a second and looks around and goes, much as I hate to defer to you all right now, this is not my home territory. We go back to the kingdom, we stick it out in the, well, probably not this cavern. Is there another cavern we could go to? What are we thinking? I will also say, if anyone has a specific thing they want to try to know, you can roll a history check for it if you do want to go somewhere outside the kingdom. That's available to you.
Ooh, I do. Wait, I want to know if I know things about the kingdom for reasons.
Yeah, you might.
Yeah. Nope, because that was a 2. So
Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to make you do a history check. This would be directly connected to your backstory.
This is a rich episode, folks.
This is a very rich. I'm not going to say specifics of why this is the case, but something I haven't touched on in the setting of Spondylix is that it is technically not one main cavern. There are all, well, no, it is one main cavern. It's not one single cavern. While there is a main one, there are other like mid-sized caverns outside in adjacent tunnels that are essentially like smaller villages, etc. And they range in size. They are all under the government of Spondylix, but it's one of those things where it's like Spondylix is the main city, and then the government kind of extends out to the, I don't want to say suburbs. I'm sure there's a fantasy way of saying that. There's got to be a term for it. I don't know what that term is, so I'm just going to say suburbs anyway. Ratch.
I said outskirts.
Yeah, you know what? Outskirts, that is better sounding. We'll pretend I said that. Ratch, from the traveling you did in your youth for reasons I won't touch on, yeah, you do know of these.
Labyrinth recall.
You don't even need to do labyrinth recall for this. This would be like navigating like a map, like streets. You have a decent enough understanding of this. Again, do you want to try to go to any sort of specific area? Do you want to go to a mid-sized town? Do you want to go to a like a very small one? Proximity, like sort of environment. Their biomes will shift a little bit. You have a lot of freedom here. Not everything is necessarily going to be available, but balls in your court. Jake also wants to say you have a suggestion.
Yeah. Well, in character. Guys, I think we should. I mean, it's only been a couple days. We still don't really know each other all that well. But I feel like we need to at least tell Janine.
Yeah.
And we know where she lives. We've been there. Shepard, you've been there too.
Don't love
was the nice
idea
lady
of
who helped
going back
translate.
to a location we visited before, but you guys.
I mean, I feel like it's the least suspicious one.
I suppose they wouldn't have any reason to know of a connection between Pine and Janine. Now that I think about it, so all right.
Yeah. I don't really know what else to do at this point.
All right. If no one disagrees with that, you guys start heading back. As you guys get like I don't want to put a certain distance quantifier on it. Let's just gonna say, for the sake of ease, a safe distance. Shepard pulls something out of his jacket and just turns to you guys really quick and goes, "Oh, by the way, I'm just going to detonate that cave real quick." Pushes a button and you hear an explosion in the background. I figured I should warn you guys before I did that. Just going to make it harder for them to trace us in any capacity. No fingerprints or anything like that. I keep saying things. I don't know if you guys know what fingerprints are. The detective might, but neither here nor there. Then you move on.
Let it be known, Ratch does not.
So he blew it up already, or he was telling us he was going to?
He says, "I'm going to blow it up," and pushes the button. Like it's
okay. What?
I mean, if you want to make,
I walk in slow motion.
Yeah.
I'm not.
You want to know the funny thing? You are carrying that golden sword, so it is weirdly probable within the lore of this setting that actually does work. So yeah, Iggy walks in slow motion away from the explosion in the distance. Very cool little transition scene here for Iggy, especially You know what? This is actually perfect. We'll play this out. I'll describe the whole thing. You get a nice shot of Iggy slow-mo walking with his dual swords, like on the outskirts of a jungle alongside this huge cliff. There's a big explosion along the cliff in the distance. And then it slowly zooms out to show Shepard next to you, because you were the ones packing together, walking at normal speed, who just kind of looks down and goes, "What the hell are you doing?"
Sorry, I was arguing with chat. I zoned out. My bad.
It was a bit, don't worry.
No?
It was not story. It was a good bit, but it was not story affecting.
It was a very good bit.
Iggy, what are you doing?
Just shrug.
Okay.
All right, anyway, while we make our way to where we're going, I'd like to continue our chat about the mechanics of this potential harvesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, essentially, taking away the essence of everything a certain being, let's say, could be, confers some manner of universal bias onto a person.
In a sense, yeah.
Is it
from my understanding?
Is it possible to harvest so much of this potential that you not only harvest everything an object could be, but everything that it is and previously was?
That's a good question for the DM.
Why I asked it.
So are you? Is it like? Does it function retroactively? Are you
Well,
asking if this, Mike? Are you asking if this can do retcons?
Sort of. I will say specifically what this character is thinking is of the sensation Iggy would have probably described of his sword going into that gold space and feeling like it was ceasing to exist. That's what CL is looking for clarification for, but obviously the way I communicated is the way that he communicated it.
Yeah. Given the context, I'll say that Shepard understands enough of what you're meaning, just for the sake of simplicity. He kind of goes, "Well, again, not really my department. It's a bit above my pay grade, but from what I've been told by the higher ups, if something has nowhere left to go when you're dealing with things on this sort of magical scale, the universe will sometimes deem that it doesn't need to be around anymore. Take all the potential. Well, think of it like this. Think of it as a timeline, you know? The potential is being harvested. That's from the forward timeline. When you take the potential, you're sort of moving that timeline up. And as you take potential, eventually you move that timeline up. It's going to run into the present. And if there's no timeline in the future, then there ain't no thing there anymore."
Huh. Does it start at the end?
Seems like a bit of a philosophical question that I could say I don't know. In truth, I do not want to. I just got a gun and I'd rather keep it that way.
Interesting.
Guns.
Mike, you have an incredible brain.
Mike, this is going to assume how Mike's brain works, so obviously, Mike, feel free to correct me here. I don't want to make assumptions, but I do think historically, Mike's brain vibes very well with my brain in terms of lore. So, yeah.
These are thematically rich puzzles, which are the exact area of bullshit I love to delve in.
I'll also say I love metafiction in the sense where it's not just breaking the fourth wall, but more like dealing with how the idea of narrative being a force would affect a world. That's like one of my favorite tropes. You can see that in Symmetry. To some extent, you see it in Agents of Hades. Like, I love that trope. It's why The Wicked and the Divine is one of my favorite comics ever, because it dips into that a little bit. So it's good stuff. Anyway, you guys can continue having these conversations or asking questions if you want. If not, we will time skip to Janine's place. But go ahead, boss.
Yeah, I would like to. So speaking of guns, I said in character. So going off of that, Shepard, I think it's time that we talked about this, and I pull out the gold sword. And for the sake of the video and whatnot, I'm not gonna in character explain it, but I want to tell him how it became what it is. And so, you know, the whole thing about throwing it up in the air and pulling it back from nothingness and blah blah blah. But then I will jump back into character now. And so that happened, you know, and then Pine died, and I was trying whatever I could to you know, I wasn't sure if she was dead yet or what, and was trying to help her. I think I harvested Pine.
I'm still
CL
not
gives
entirely,
you a notable reaction.
I'm not entirely up to date on your language yet. Can you just say that one more time real clear for me?
I think whatever was left of Pine's potential, or I think it's in the sword now.
I mean, that's weird. Don't think you need me to tell you that, but if I had to take a stab at it, maybe the wrong choice of words, given that we're talking about a sword, but neither here nor there. That sword is the one that was affected by the conduit, the harvester, the cat, right?
I mean, they both were, but this sword wasn't. This happened after Catsby left.
I don't know how helpful of information this is either, but from my understanding of Catsby, left is not something that's really in the equation here. The cat might be somewhere else, but the influence of the cat, I mean, I think y'all probably felt that you're tuned into Arcane at least enough. I mean, look, whatever goes into that conduit, it goes through the cat, right? The cat's the thing that sends stuff up. If you got something back from it, maybe the cat likes you.
But the rest of Pine.
Yeah, I was hoping you wouldn't ask about that
go
part because I got no goddamn idea.
Through the cat, it went.
Maybe.
Wait, Jess comes back as Catsby in the form of Pine.
That's fine.
He thinks about it for a second. This is a situation where I have to take a step back for a second and DM analyze what the response from Shepard would be here. I'm actually going to give him an Arcana check. He's going to give an Arcana check for helpful information. I'm not going to tell you what the role of this is, but the accuracy of his information has been determined, and you get to figure out, you know, what to do with that later. He's going to go, if I had to guess, that's a gift from the cat. The gold stuff if the gold stuff is what does the absorbing, and you have a sword made out of the gold stuff, it did the absorb. Whatever Pine's potential was left didn't go into one of the statues, it went into that sword. So maybe it's still in there. Oh. I don't exactly know what.
Pine Resurrection Arc? Let's go.
Do you say this in character, Ratch?
No.
I assume not. Yeah, but I don't know if that necessarily means there's a sort of resurrection potential here. I would not jump to that conclusion. I felt like somebody out in the ether just did that. But I hate saying it this way because this is going to sound really goddamn contrived, but it seems like the story of Pine, as cheesy as that sounds, is still going to be entwined with that sword you got there. Whatever that means is a mystery to me specifically, but that's my logical conclusion.
Iggy, was the body visibly affected by this process? I suppose
Can I roll
more directly, I would figure it would
disappear. In the past.
I mean, I'll go ahead and be nice here because we've had a death. I'll be relatively nice for the rest of the episode. I'll tell you, I think I mentioned this in the moment too. It was not.
Yeah, I didn't think so. No, it didn't seem like it was more of a, I don't know, metaphysical thing.
It's just we were able to harvest your sword by flipping it a few times. Now the utterly complex thing that is a person.
Yeah.
Why would the entirety of your sword disappear if only the specific use case of flipping it a few times and getting a result was what was exhausted? Meanwhile, Pine dies, and while she gets harvested, the body doesn't disappear, even though it has the potential to become decomposed.
Shepard will chime in there. I'll give a little bit of context on that. I feel like that's fair. Yeah, I assume the sword thing was explained to him because you did say that you sort of, for the sake of time scale, well, you were trying to get the sword going with the active goal of harvesting it. One, there's complexity, but also Pine died independently. That was part of the. Pine did not go away from being harvested. It was a death, and then it was a progression.
It's just slippery. It's a slippery thing. I like a set rule that could be followed.
And there we agree.
Matt.
What?
So, do you remember how I explained how I summon my swords to my hands?
Yeah.
And how I have a sense of them. Like they're bonded to me and I have a sense of them, like their presence, and kind of like feel them on me all the time.
Yeah.
Does the sword feel different now to me?
Make an Arcana check.
Ooh.
Knock on the sword and say, "Hello, Pine."
Pine? Are you answering? Hello?
I had a nickel for every time my telephone threw
Hey,
an inanimate
hey,
object
hey,
after I died on a stream.
we haven't done it yet.
16.
Huh?
16.
Slightly. No, with the 16, slightly. That's all you're gonna get.
We were one nat 20 away from Sword Pine.
One nat 20 away from a little bit more info. I'm not gonna tell you what that would have taken.
Sword Pine.
All right.
Sword Pine.
If nobody else has anything they want to say on the journey back, then we will time skip to what I believe will be the return of Jess into this.
Hopefully. Poor
Yeah.
Jess.
Yeah.
She's not
If nobody else has anything, I mean,
Janine was at home. We just continue on without her.
we will skip to outside of Pine's office. Jess, you are playing Janine for this.
Yes.
And forever.
And that means we're throwing it back to you guys. If Janine's not home, that's Jess's decision at this point. But it's back to you guys.
Hilarious, but
No way in hell is Shepard going to get involved in this. He does not know you people that well, and also does not feel like being part of this death delivery message. So he's going to go. Honestly, it's Shepard. He's probably going to go hide on a roof somewhere just in case something. He's covering the area with his sniper on the roof of the building.
Ciel, from that distance, looks at him and says, "Awfully convenient way to shirk the responsibility of giving the news."
Oh, most certainly.
Well, I'm not doing it either. I don't think anyone should be opposed to that.
Just no one actually does it, and Jess does not return to the episode.
No, I think
No, I was gonna
want
say,
CL
Iggy
to
will.
tell
I know
you?
at least Iggy will, but it would be very funny.
So I guess what I know we're underground, but is it like what time is it? Like are we returning like in the middle of the night or
That's a
like
good
middle of the afternoon?
question. You went back to the Golden Cavern, we'll call it. I just remembered something. Can I reveal something that I'll do it at the end of the episode. Maybe I'll save a really funny reveal for the after show because it's not lore significant. I am going to save it for the after show. Anyway, so you guys left for this in the morning. It was a couple weeks ago at this point, so I think it was in the morning. It's not that far. Yeah, it is we'll say it's evening. I'm not going to overthink it too much. Time is also a little bit weird here with the way that the light cycle works. It's evening.
Evening. Okay. So much so that that it would be reasonable that she was asleep, or like not.
I have not been I admittedly have not been tracking this like hour to hour. Let's say it's like the equivalent of 8 p.m. purely for black convenience.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. I guess I go to the door and give it a knock.
I think there's a second before somebody gets to the door, and then Janine opens the door and sees Iggy, who she has seen before, and she's like, "Oh, good. Yeah, I haven't heard from y'all today. I was about to send out an animal messenger to Pine to see if she was gonna be home."
I think it would be very plain on Iggy's face.
What's wrong?
Like,
where is she?
I pull the her cane out from my bag.
Oh. Okay, this is fine. I'll cast Gentle Riposte on the body, and we can go to the castle. She has status, right? We can get her revived, right? Someone. Where's the body? Where's she? Where's my wife?
We I think it's safe, but it's complicated. We barely got out of there without the rest of us.
Oh.
I did what I could.
So she's gone.
I'm not sure. I mean,
What happened?
It's very complicated.
Are...
And I would explain what happened in the battle, and then stumbling through it and trying not to be overwhelming, but also not really knowing how to phrase it otherwise. I pull out the gold sword and I present it to Janine hilt first.
Oh.
And I sever my connection with it.
Oh. Just thank you.
As far as we understand this magic, whatever was left of Pine's life, her potential, is in this sword. And I don't know if there's a way to reverse what happened, or if it's just part of it now, but it's not really mine anymore. I think it should be yours.
Thank you. And the person who did this was, you said, a soldier from somewhere else?
He's in the bag.
He's dead?
Technically.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, he's literally in the bag also.
Okay.
Well, there's no bag, right?
If you have a way to ask him questions.
I don't need to ask him anything.
I don't know what, I just...
He's gone. Yeah.
We're gonna deal with the people he worked for. The people who we're gonna. You guys are you're planning to take care of this, right?
Every last one of them.
Then I'm coming with you.
Yeah.
I have a lot to grieve, but I think I'm gonna start with anger.
I think that's what Pine would have wanted.
Yeah. Yes, it is. She was the one who was gonna tear down the system, but I think right now that sounds really good. So, what next?
So if we don't do something soon, there's not going to be a system left.
She was a knight, right? She had status.
She was
the king
the
liked
knight.
her. Mm-hmm. So let's go tell important people that a different government killed the most important person in the kingdom and start a fucking war.
Sounds good to me.
And I think with that, that is not only a great narrative point to end the episode on, but it is also an incredibly good segue to that end scene I said we were going to do earlier. So, as the
Pine
camera
crawling
sort
out
of
of the ground.
zooms
Yeah.
out from our party with a new party member now officially added, Iggy's words of "I think the body is safe" start to sort of echo in the air, and we zoom back in to the little plot of land where Iggy buried Pine before. And as we zoom right into this, relatively close to the statue, so identifiable where it is, a crack starts to go through the earth, right exactly where that mold earth spell was cast. And this crack begins to spread, branching out into more cracks as chunks of earth start to fall into the hole that Iggy left. And as these cracks fall, after a moment, we hear a splash. And the camera pans up to reveal where Pine's body should be. A massive pit going deeper than the eye can see that is slowly filling with water. And that will be the end of Minor Infractions episode 7. Ha ha! The patron is still in play!
Oh shit!
Her drowned god is gonna.
The patron is still in play! I'm so
Holy
glad
fuck.
that you failed that perception check earlier, Iggy, because man, it made for such a better reveal.
Oh.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, and
my
Iggy, that patron wants anything to do with Pine. Janine at this point is carrying the remaining identifiers. So this is gonna be fun. We got 3 episodes of this show remaining. We have a lot to cover in 3, but I actually think it's gonna time out pretty well. I'm really happy with the pace of how this is going. This episode, I want everybody in chat to know that this episode was, I think from everybody especially, but so much improv from me because of that early player death. My God. We need to get to the after show quick because I think we have a lot to discuss.
Yes.
But before we do,
Yes.
just real quick, props to everybody. Everybody had good speeches here. That was good. Good job,
Jeez.
everyone.
Louise.
Announcements real quick, all the same things that we did at the beginning, so I will run through them fast. One, we have a schedule lined up for the remaining episodes. Now, I didn't say this at the beginning. Obviously, this is somewhat subject to change. We are a lot of people with different schedules. But the current plan is next week, Minor Infractions. The week after, on the 3rd, Minor Infractions. The 10th, we will not have a live episode, but on our YouTube, the first previews for Cazalor will be going up. The 17th of May will be the finale of Minor Infractions, and then this time there is no season gap, no waiting for you guys. The 24th of May, same time, same place, Tales from Cazalor, the Golden Era begins. So a lot coming up in D&Dorks. We will also be launching the first playtest material of giant fighting mechanics for you guys to try, along with the YouTube episode of Tales from Cazalor 1. So that will be on the 29th. Details on where to find that are to come. We are still working on the mechanics and where we best want to host it, but it will be happening. Crit Awards. I talked about this at the beginning. I mentioned it more specifically at the beginning and end of last week's VOD, so if you want details, it should be pretty easy to find. We also did post a TikTok about it. But yeah, there's a TTRPG show called the Crit Awards. Anyone can nominate any TTRPG show or player or DM or whatever for a huge host of awards. Nominations end on May 31st. From there, it goes to like a stage 2 where they pick people for like the final actual competition. If you want to nominate us, we'd really appreciate it. We have categories that we're quote unquote gunning for. You can find those in the TikTok and in last week's announcement, etc., etc. The only other announcement that we have is my personal streams on this channel have started back up. I'm trying to plug that. I also stream here Mondays and Wednesdays. I do various things. I'm playing a D&D-esque game on Wednesday, a video game called Slice and Dice, if anyone wants to come to that. Those are at 7 p.m. Central Time. Other people's announcements. What do we got?
You're never gonna believe this, but everyone should go follow my Instagram. I need
Crazy.
7 people. 7. You can be one of the lucky last 7 people in before 10K. Yeah, and then Twitch and TikTok and stuff. I'm Nikhil Clayton. And
I should also plug my TikTok, actually. I posted a video on TikTok yesterday. It has 785,000 views.
Your
Go watch
video-
the Iska video. It's the Iska and the Iska versus Darwin video. I won't plug it now. We'll talk about this later. We have to go through the episode. But other people plugged stuff if you want.
Yeah, follow me on TikTok and Instagram. My username Pirate Princess Jess or Pirate Princess Jessica on Instagram because Pirate Princess Jess was taken. And follow me on Tumblr too because I'm having fun over there again. Also, go see Godzilla X Kong in theaters. I'm in no way associated or affiliated with them, but it's on the way to becoming the highest grossing kaiju movie of all time.
Really?
And I really like this movie. Yes.
That's crazy,
So,
actually.
I want to see that happen. I've seen it enough times in theaters that it'd be silly for me to go see it again. E.g., I can't convince anyone else to go see it with me. So go see it in my stead and have literally the most fun you're going to have in theaters.
That's
all
awesome.
year.
I was not going to see it. You may have changed my mind with that recommendation.
Matt, if you like Power Rangers, you're going to like
I was
this
going to watch it
movie.
at some point. I just didn't know if I wanted to pay to go see it in the theater. But now
That's
I
fair,
probably
that's
will. Mike, Jake, I should give an order so people don't talk at the same time.
For
But go.
once, I
Have
don't
at it.
have much to promote right now.
Huh? Oh, well. Fair
So
enough.
for
You had a
once, I
bunch of
don't-
con
yeah.
appearances and such like.
Mhm.
And now you're just back to sandwich. But very good sandwiches. Or bad sandwiches. I guess the whole point is that we don't know until we try.
Yeah.
And you can follow my socials at Mike Funny Boy, boy with an I. I'll upload eventually, I promise. Also, never forget this episode had a Danganronpa reference in it,
Yep, it did.
like a droplet of piss on hallowed ground.
I just started playing it.
In there.
I'm hating it, but I'm loving it at the same time. That's a topic for later. Thank you all for watching this episode. This one was, I mean, they've all been insane in their own ways, but this one was uniquely insane. We will be back next week. A lot of things have gone down. A lot of things will go down. Do not miss it. This VOD will be up on Wednesday on YouTube and Spotify and all that stuff. This weekend for our Patreon subscribers, we're going to go record the after show now. There will be extra secret information in that because I remembered Easter eggs, but you got to subscribe to our Patreon if you want to hear that. So thank you all again for watching. I hope you had a good time. Enjoy the rest of your night and weekend, and we will see you later.